Today I will share with you some life-changing philosophy. Before we start, make sure to like the video and subscribe. Also, comment where are you watching from and at what time you are watching. Have a nice sleep. Did you know that most of us spend our lives waiting for someday? We tell ourselves, someday I'll be happy, someday I'll pursue my dreams, someday I'll live the life I truly want. But what if someday was actually today? What if I told you that the secret to unlocking your best life lies in a simple shift of perspective? In today's video, we're diving deep into the transformative power of living as if, a strategy that can revolutionize how you approach your goals and dreams right here, right now. Throughout this discussion, we'll explore how changing your mindset can not only alter your immediate reality but also set the stage for long-term fulfillment. I'm thrilled to share these insights, and I genuinely believe you'll find them both empowering and practical. If you value what we're doing here, consider showing your support with a simple free favor. Hit that subscribe button. It helps us keep producing content that makes a difference. And remember, each part of this video builds on the last, so make sure you don't skip any sections. Stick with me throughout, and let's unlock some powerful strategies together. Let's make someday today. Let me share a little secret with you. There was a time when I lived my life on hold, always waiting for the right moment to make my dreams a reality. It's easy to think that someday we'll have everything perfectly aligned, and then we'll be ready to chase what truly matters. But that day, it never just arrives. We have to create it. I started to wonder, what if I lived as though I had already achieved my dreams? This shift in perspective was inspired by Stoic philosophy, which teaches us to focus on our responses to life's events rather than the events themselves. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius believed in using every moment as an opportunity to practice virtues like courage, wisdom, and self-discipline. So I asked myself, what would a successful version of me do today? Not tomorrow, not next year, but today? This approach transformed my life. Instead of waiting for opportunities, I began creating them. I acted with the confidence and intent of someone who had already succeeded, which led to opening doors I didn't even know existed. It was as if the universe began conspiring to help me succeed, because I was finally in tune with what I truly wanted and believed I could achieve it. Now, think about your own aspirations. What could you achieve if you started living as if your biggest goals were already accomplished? Imagine the sense of purpose and direction you'd feel each morning. It's not about fooling yourself, but about stepping into the shoes of your best self and moving forward with unwavering conviction. Remember, as if isn't about pretending. It's a practice in courage, a way to bridge the gap between who you are and who you want to be. And in this gap, you'll find not just the achievements you desire, but also profound growth in your character. Because when we act as if, we're not just living, we're thriving, propelled by the best version of ourselves. This is the Stoic way, living each day as if it were both your first and your last, with the vitality and vigor that comes from aligning with your deepest values and ambitions. So, let's take that step today, not tomorrow. Act as if you are already the person who has achieved everything you ever wanted. Watch how it changes, not just the things you do, but also how you feel about everything around you. This isn't just about achieving goals. It's about transforming your entire outlook on life. Let's delve into a powerful exercise that I often revisit when I feel disconnected from my goals. Visualization isn't just about dreaming. It's about creating a vivid mental blueprint of your future. Picture this. You've already reached your biggest goal. Can you see it? What are you doing? Who are you with? And most importantly, how do you feel in that moment? I remember the first time I practiced this, I was aiming to become a sought-after speaker, sharing insights on life and Stoicism. I visualized stepping onto the stage, the lights, the audience's expectant faces, and the profound silence waiting for my first words. But the true shift came when I focused deeply on the emotions I felt in that vision. Confidence, excitement, fulfillment. This wasn't just a daydream. It was an emotional rehearsal for what was to come. The Stoics were masters at using visualization not as a form of escape, but as a tool to prepare for reality. They called it premeditatio malorum, where they visualized challenges to prepare themselves mentally and emotionally for future hardships. In our context, it means using visualization to fortify ourselves against the fear of failure and to bolster our resolve to pursue our ambitions relentlessly. Every morning, I spend a few minutes in this visualization, not just seeing but feeling the reality of my achievements. This practice propels me out of bed with a vigor that no cup of coffee can match. It's about aligning my emotional and mental state with my goals, ensuring that my actions throughout the day are intentional and directed toward making that visualized future a reality. So, what vision will you hold in your mind? What emotions will you choose to feel as if your success is already a fact? Embrace this technique and weave it into your daily routine. Feel the joy, the pride, and the sheer thrill of achieving your dreams, even before they materialize. This isn't just optimism, it's a strategic rehearsal for your success. I'll let you in on a transformative moment from my own journey. There was a time when my aspirations seemed like distant, almost unreachable stars. I wanted to be recognized as a leader in my field and influential and inspiring. But here's the twist. I decided to start acting the part long before the accolades and acknowledgments came my way. I began each day asking myself, how would the leader I aspire to be handle this? Whether it was dealing with a challenging client or navigating setbacks, I stepped up. I made decisions from a place of authority and confidence, not hesitance. I dressed the part, spoke with conviction, and perhaps most importantly, I made strategic choices that a successful person in my field would make. This wasn't about putting on a mask, it was about embodying the best version of myself, one decision at a time. Now, think about your own goals. How does the person you want to become handle their day-to-day tasks? How do they interact with others? How do they manage stress and setbacks? Emulating these behaviors before they become a reality is not just play acting, it's a profound exercise in self-actualization. The Stoics emphasize the importance of living in accordance with nature, which, in our case, translates to living in a way that aligns with our true potential. Let me ask you this, what can you do right now, today, that aligns with your vision of success? Maybe it's tackling a project you've been postponing, or perhaps it's reaching out to a mentor. Each action, no matter how small, is a step toward becoming who you really want to be. And yes, there will be days when it feels like you're just going through the motions. But remember, consistency is key. Every act, every decision in line with your future self fortifies your path to becoming that person. Embracing your new role before it materializes isn't just a strategy, it's a profound transformation that begins deep within your emotional core. Let me share a chapter from my own life. When I first aimed to become a motivational speaker, every morning, before the sun even peeped through the curtains, I stood in front of my mirror, rehearsed my speeches, and soaked in the applause I imagined echoed through packed auditoriums. This wasn't about wishful thinking, it was about emotionally anchoring myself in my future reality. I still remember the butterflies, the nerves, and the raw energy I felt during those mornings. But here's the key. I didn't wait for my first actual applause to feel validated or successful. I allowed myself to feel proud, capable, and genuinely moved by my own journey and the messages I shared. This emotional resonance is crucial because it cements your belief in your potential and your path. It's what fuels you through setbacks and rejections. The Stoics often spoke about amor fati, a love of fate. They believed in embracing every aspect of life, not just the joys, but also the challenges, as necessary parts of your journey. By allowing myself to feel the emotions associated with my desired role, I was practicing amor fati. I was not just waiting for success to come and find me, I was living it in my emotions and reactions. How about you? What emotions would you feel if you achieved your greatest aspiration right now? Try to live those emotions today. Feel the joy, the gratitude, and yes, even the responsibility that comes with your dreams. When you align your emotional state with your ambitions, you're not just hoping for a future, you're living it. This practice doesn't just prepare you for your dreams, it attracts them to you. Because when you resonate with the energy of your dreams, the world can't help but respond in kind. In my own journey, the realization hit hard that dreaming big wasn't enough. It had to be paired with daily, actionable steps. This lesson became clear when I committed to writing a book on Stoicism. The project was daunting, immense like a mountain looming before me. However, breaking it down into daily, manageable tasks transformed what seemed like an insurmountable challenge into a series of small, achievable victories. Every morning I made it a point to write at least one page. Some days the words flowed freely, other days it was like squeezing water from a stone. But regardless of the struggle, this daily discipline was non-negotiable. It wasn't just about progress on my book, it was about reinforcing my identity as a writer and a scholar of Stoicism. I was living proof of Marcus Aurelius' advice, "The color of your thoughts dyes your soul." By focusing on positive, proactive thoughts, I colored my soul with resilience and determination. Let's translate this approach to your goals. What's your mountain? Maybe it's starting a business, learning a new skill, or improving your health. Break it down. What can you do each day to move one step closer to your summit? It could be as simple as reading for 20 minutes, practicing a new language, or choosing a healthy meal over fast food. These actions might seem small in isolation, but cumulatively, they wield the power to transform your life. Now, I challenge you to think of 3 small actions you can take daily. Write them down. Make them as specific and time-bound as possible. For example, instead of saying, "I will work out more," say, "I will walk for 30 minutes at 7 a.m. This specificity acts as a mini contract with yourself, and fulfilling it daily builds integrity and self-trust. In the spirit of Stoicism, remember that it's not the actions themselves, but how we approach them that matters. Approach each small task with the same seriousness and dedication as you would your ultimate goal. This mindset shift is pivotal. Each small task completed is a brick in the foundation of your dreams. By committing to these daily actions, you're not just hoping for a better future, you're actively constructing it. Doubts and fears are companions on any journey worth taking. I recall the early days of my speaking career, standing backstage, heart pounding, palms sweaty, questioning if I was really cut out for this. What if I failed? What if the audience didn't resonate with what I had to say? These questions would swirl in my mind, threatening to undermine all my preparations and efforts. But then I would take a deep breath and remember a core Stoic principle. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Seneca, this realization was transformative. It reminded me that fear is often not rooted in the actual events that confront us, but in the shadows of our minds. Acknowledging this didn't make the fear disappear instantly, but it allowed me to see it for what it truly was, an internal obstacle, not an external truth. Facing skepticism, whether from within or from others, is a part of the process of pursuing anything that defies the status quo. To move past it, the first step is to simply acknowledge these fears without judgment. Say to yourself, "Yes, I'm scared. Yes, I have doubts." This acknowledgement is not a sign of weakness, but of profound courage. It is the first step in reclaiming your power from the clutches of fear. Next, ask yourself, what would I do if I weren't afraid? This question opens up a space for you to explore possibilities without the weight of fear. Often, it's not about eliminating fear, but about learning to move forward in spite of it. This is what the Stoics excel at. They harness their perceptions and focus on what is within their control, which is always their own actions and responses. Turn this into a practice. Each time you encounter a doubt or fear, write it down, acknowledge it, then write a counterstatement that reflects the action you would take if fear were not a factor. This practice not only helps in managing fears, but also builds a reservoir of courage and resilience that you can draw upon over time. When I first embarked on my journey to integrate Stoicism into my daily life, I quickly learned that the true challenge wasn't in understanding its principles, but in applying them consistently, every day, in every decision. I needed to embody patience, resilience, and wisdom, traits that are easy to admire but incredibly challenging to live out, especially when you're faced with the stresses and pressures of everyday life. I remember one particularly grueling week when everything that could go wrong did. Clients were unhappy, deadlines were missed, and my personal life felt just as chaotic. It was during these moments, these tests, that the power of consistency became crystal clear. Instead of letting despair take hold, I focused on maintaining my Stoic practices, reflecting on my reactions, focusing on what I could control, and accepting what I couldn't. This didn't solve all my problems overnight, but it helped me navigate them with a clarity and calmness that had previously eluded me. Consistency in our actions transforms what are singular acts into habits, and eventually into traits of our character. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Your consistent acts create your reality." Each day, by choosing to act in alignment with my values, no matter the circumstances, I was not only developing resilience, but also actively creating the life I envisioned. Here's what I suggest to anyone watching this. Find your practice, your anchor. That thing that you commit to doing every day, no matter how small. It could be as simple as writing down 3 things you're grateful for, meditating for 5 minutes, or reading a page of a thought-provoking book. The size of the action isn't what transforms you, it's the regularity. It's about doing it on the days you feel good and pushing through on the days when you don't. Think of it as forging your own character in the fire of daily life. Each day is an opportunity to reinforce who you are and who you want to become. This consistency is what builds the bridge between your current self and the ideal self you envision. Imagine this. At this very moment, you hold the power to transform your life's greatest challenges into your most profound victories. But how, you might ask? Today we dive deep into the heart of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that has empowered individuals to thrive in adversity and find serenity amidst chaos for centuries. Think about the last time you faced a situation that tested your patience or shook your confidence. How did you respond? Were you a prisoner to your immediate reactions, or did you choose a response that reflected your deeper values and convictions? This is where Stoicism shines, guiding us to respond to life's challenges with courage, wisdom, and equanimity. Today, we're diving into a profound concept that has its roots in ancient wisdom, yet remains strikingly relevant in our modern world. The art of training your mind to respond, not react. This concept isn't just about controlling your temper or keeping your cool in challenging situations. It's about cultivating a deep-seated sense of awareness, a grounding in the present moment that allows you to navigate life's ups and downs with grace and intention. The Stoics, ancient philosophers known for their practical approach to life, had a lot to say about this. They believed that while we might not have control over the events that happen to us, we do have control over how we interpret and respond to these events. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what's within our control, encouraging a detachment from external circumstances and an anchoring in our own reasoned choices. It's this Stoic wisdom that can inspire us to pause, reflect, and choose a course of action that is reasoned and deliberate rather than impulsive and reactive. But why is this important? Well, think about how much of our stress, regret, and frustration comes from knee-jerk reactions to things people say or do. Now imagine if, instead, you could remain calm, centered, and thoughtful, even when the world around you is anything but. This isn't just about improving your peace of mind. It's about becoming a more effective, compassionate, and resilient person. Qualities that can transform not only your life, but also the lives of those around you. In our conversation today, we'll explore various strategies that draw from both modern psychology and Stoic philosophy to help you develop this responsive mindset. We'll look at how to cultivate mindfulness, the importance of identifying and expressing your emotions constructively, and how to keep the bigger picture in mind, a perspective that the Stoics excelled at. By the end of this discussion, you'll have a toolkit of strategies to help you pause, assess, and respond thoughtfully to whatever life throws your way. So, let's embark on this journey together, learning to anchor ourselves in the wisdom of Stoicism and the power of our own minds to choose our responses, transforming our experiences and interactions for the better. In our journey to understand the essence of responding over reacting, we delve into a realm where every thought and action is deliberate, echoing the profound teachings of Stoicism. The Stoics, those venerable sages of ancient Greece and Rome, held a view of life that is remarkably applicable to our fast-paced modern world. They taught the value of mastering one's emotions and reactions, emphasizing that true power lies in our ability to choose our response to any given situation. So, why is it so vital to cultivate a response rather than a knee-jerk reaction? Imagine you're in a tense meeting or facing a personal challenge. The default human behavior is often to react instinctively, driven by the immediate surge of emotions. This reaction, though natural, is seldom in our best interest in the long run. It can escalate conflicts, hurt relationships, and lead to decisions we might later regret. Here's where Stoic wisdom shines through. The Stoics believed in living according to nature and reason, advocating for a life where every action is guided by virtue and rational thought. By embracing this philosophy, we learn to observe our initial impulses, examine them with a rational mind, and choose a course of action that aligns with our core values and long-term goals. Responding rather than reacting means taking a moment to pause when faced with a triggering event. It's about stepping back to observe not only the external event, but also your internal response to it. This reflective pause allows you to consider various outcomes and choose one that is reasoned, balanced, and, most importantly, under your control. In practicing this Stoic approach, you're not suppressing your emotions or pretending they don't exist. Instead, you're acknowledging them, understanding their origins, and then deciding if and how they should influence your actions. This approach empowers you to interact with the world in a way that maintains your inner peace and integrity, regardless of external circumstances. But the importance of responding over reacting extends beyond personal peace. It influences the quality of your relationships, the effectiveness of your leadership, and your resilience in the face of adversity. When you respond thoughtfully, you demonstrate respect, understanding, and empathy toward others' viewpoints and experiences, fostering more meaningful and constructive interactions. Embarking on a transformative journey to train the mind requires more than mere intention. It necessitates deliberate and sustained effort. Much like the practices espoused by the Stoics, these ancient philosophers offer timeless insights that can anchor our modern approach to cultivating a responsive rather than reactive mind. Firstly, let's delve into the power of self-awareness, a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. The Stoics emphasize the importance of introspection and understanding one's own thoughts and motivations. In our context, this means cultivating an acute awareness of our mental and emotional states. When you're aware of your thoughts and feelings, you're better equipped to manage them effectively. This heightened self-awareness allows you to recognize the onset of emotional reactions and provides the crucial first step in choosing a different, more reasoned response. Next, we explore the practice of pausing, a simple yet profound strategy. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor, often spoke of the space between stimulus and response, the space where we have the power to choose our actions. By cultivating the habit of pausing, even just for a few seconds, we give ourselves the opportunity to step back from our immediate impulses. This pause can be filled with a deep breath, a moment of reflection, or a brief meditation. It's in this space that we can consult our inner Stoic, asking ourselves, what virtue calls for in this moment? What response aligns with our highest self? Another pivotal strategy is reframing our perspective, a technique that Stoics use to maintain equanimity in the face of adversity. This involves consciously choosing to view a situation from a different angle, one that reduces its emotional charge and reveals alternative ways to engage with it. For instance, instead of seeing a challenging work situation as a threat, you might reframe it as an opportunity to grow and demonstrate resilience. By changing our narrative, we shift our emotional responses and open up new possibilities for action. Moreover, the Stoics were advocates of focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. In practicing this principle, we learn to invest our energy wisely, responding actively to our own thoughts and actions while accepting external events as they unfold. This doesn't mean being passive or indifferent. Rather, it's about recognizing where our power truly lies and choosing to act there with intention and integrity. Finally, the practice of consistent reflection and adjustment is key to training the mind. The Stoics engaged in daily self-examination, assessing their actions and progress toward virtue. Similarly, we can end our day by reflecting on our responses, celebrating our successes and choosing thoughtful actions, and learning from the times we fell back into reactivity. This ongoing process of self-assessment and improvement fosters a responsive mindset and cultivates the wisdom and balance that Stoicism so highly values. By integrating these strategies into our daily lives, we not only honor the legacy of the Stoics, but also empower ourselves to live with greater purpose, calm, and effectiveness. Through persistent practice, we transform our minds, guiding them toward responses that reflect our deepest values and aspirations. Mindfulness, at its core, is about cultivating a deep awareness of the present moment. It's about observing our thoughts, emotions, and sensations without judgment, allowing us to gain insights into their nature and influence. By practicing mindfulness, we align with the Stoic endeavor to live with awareness and intention, anchoring ourselves firmly in the now, the only time when we truly have the power to act. One practical way to cultivate mindfulness is through focused attention exercises, such as breath meditation. By simply observing our breath, noticing each inhale and exhale, we develop the ability to maintain attention and return it to our point of focus when it wanders. This practice is not just about relaxation, it's a training ground for the mind, enhancing our ability to concentrate and remain present amid life's distractions and challenges. Another key practice is mindful observation, which can be applied to any daily activity, turning it into an opportunity for mindfulness. Whether you're eating, walking, or even performing mundane tasks, you can practice being fully engaged with the activity, observing every aspect with curiosity and openness. This not only enriches the experience itself, but also strengthens your ability to remain focused and responsive in various situations. Body scan meditation is another powerful mindfulness technique that fosters body awareness and presence. By attentively scanning through different parts of the body, we not only cultivate a greater connection with our physical selves, but also learn to recognize and release stored tensions and emotions. This practice echoes the Stoic reflection on the nature of bodily experiences and the importance of not allowing them to unduly influence our rational minds. Incorporating mindfulness into our interactions with others can also transform our relationships and communication. By being fully present with others, listening attentively, and observing without judgment, we foster deeper understanding and connection. This practice aligns with the Stoic value of empathy and the recognition that others, too, are rational beings, navigating their own challenges and experiences. By embracing these mindfulness practices, we walk a path tread by the Stoics, one that leads to greater clarity, tranquility, and effectiveness in our actions. As we cultivate a mindful presence, we equip ourselves with the tools to respond to life's inevitable challenges with grace, wisdom, and composure, embodying the best of what it means to live a Stoic-inspired life. Now, let's transition our focus toward the pragmatic application of our newfound mindfulness and Stoic insights, aiming to cultivate a lifestyle where responding thoughtfully overshadows reactive impulses. This journey to implementing a response over reaction is not merely about suppressing natural reflexes. Rather, it's about enriching our engagement with life, echoing the Stoic virtue of living with deliberate intention and rationality. To embody the principles we've discussed, it's crucial to establish daily practices that reinforce the art of responding. Imagine you're faced with a challenging situation, perhaps a disagreement at work or an unforeseen setback. The immediate impulse might be to react emotionally, driven by frustration or disappointment. Yet, this is the moment to harness our Stoic-inspired training, to pause and consider the broader perspective. asking ourselves, what would a Stoic philosopher do? This question isn't a call for emotional suppression. Instead, it's an invitation to engage our rational mind, to evaluate the situation dispassionately and identify constructive responses. Here, we're not eliminating emotions, but channeling them productively, using reason to navigate through them. It's about acknowledging our feelings, understanding their triggers, and then, with clarity and calm, deciding the best course of action that aligns with our values and objectives. In practical terms, this could mean taking a brief walk to clear your mind before responding to a provocative email. Or it might involve a deeper analysis of what's truly upsetting you in a conflict, seeking the underlying issues rather than reacting to surface irritants. Each time you choose to respond rather than react, you're reinforcing a pattern of thoughtful engagement with life's challenges, fostering resilience, and cultivating a more profound sense of peace and satisfaction. Moreover, integrating this approach into your daily routines amplifies its impact. Begin your day with a reflection on your intentions, reminding yourself of your commitment to respond thoughtfully across various contexts. Engage in regular journaling to reflect on your responses, celebrate your successes, and identify areas for growth. And importantly, embrace a mindset of continuous learning and adaptation, recognizing that each day offers fresh opportunities to practice and deepen your mastery of response over reaction. By committing to this path, you're not just adopting a strategy for stress reduction or conflict management, you're embracing a way of life that reflects the Stoic pursuit of virtue and wisdom. You're choosing to live with intentionality, aligning your actions with your highest ideals, and in doing so, you're contributing to a more reasoned, compassionate, and responsive world. The journey from reaction to response is transformative, beckoning us toward a deeper engagement with our inner selves and the external world. It's a path that the Stoics walked with diligence and dedication, and now, with their wisdom guiding us, we too can aspire to navigate life's vicissitudes with grace, equanimity, and rationality. Embodying the true spirit of Stoicism in our modern era, the essence of our exploration is not just about managing our reactions in isolation, but about integrating a responsive, thoughtful approach into the fabric of our lives. By embracing the principles of Stoicism, focusing on what's within our control, acting with reason, and striving for virtue, we empower ourselves to navigate life's challenges with greater equanimity and purpose. Our greatest power lies in the ability to choose our response to life's challenges. Picture this. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor, faced with unending turmoil, found peace not in control, but in acceptance. He taught that the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. This ancient wisdom of Stoicism isn't just historical trivia. It's a transformative tool we can all use today. In this video, we'll uncover the art of letting things happen, exploring how embracing the flow of life rather than forcing outcomes can lead to profound peace and fulfillment. Get ready to dive into the timeless teachings of Stoicism and discover how to navigate life's unpredictability with grace and strength. If you appreciate what we're doing here, a simple favor I'll ask from you is to hit the subscribe button. Don't skip any part of the video, as this journey towards inner calm and resilience might just change your life. In Stoicism, there's a strong emphasis on distinguishing between what we can and cannot control. This starts with our thoughts. The Stoics believed that while we cannot control external events, we have complete control over our minds. By focusing on our thoughts, we can navigate life's challenges with greater ease and composure. It's like building a mental armor that shields us from unnecessary worries and negative influences. When we understand this, we can start to see our thoughts not just as fleeting moments in our minds, but as powerful tools that shape our reality. Consider the impact of a single negative thought. It can spiral into a cascade of negativity, affecting our mood, our behavior, and even our health. On the other hand, a positive thought can inspire us, motivate us, and lead to actions that improve our lives and the lives of those around us. The Stoics were masters of this mental discipline. They practiced techniques like reflection and journaling to keep their thoughts in check. For example, the evening reflection was a common practice where they would spend time at the end of each day contemplating their thoughts and actions, identifying what went well and what could be improved. This practice allowed them to maintain a clear and focused mind, ready to face the next day with renewed strength. Moreover, the Stoics taught us that thoughts are not just abstract concepts, but tangible forces that can direct the course of our lives. By becoming aware of our thoughts and consciously guiding them, we can transform our experiences. This is not about suppressing negative thoughts, but rather about understanding them, challenging them, and ultimately transforming them into positive actions. It's a skill that takes practice, but can lead to profound changes in how we perceive and interact with the world. To put it into perspective, imagine two people facing the same challenging situation. One person is consumed by negative thoughts, believing that nothing they do will make a difference. They feel paralyzed and defeated. The other person, guided by positive thoughts, sees the challenge as an opportunity for growth. They think about past successes and believe in their ability to overcome the obstacle. This person is more likely to take proactive steps and ultimately succeed. The difference lies in their thoughts. Realizing the importance of thought is about recognizing that our inner dialogue shapes our reality. It's about taking control of our mental landscape and cultivating thoughts that lead to positive actions and outcomes. As Marcus Aurelius and other Stoics have shown us, this is a path to true happiness and fulfillment. So, start today by paying attention to your thoughts. Challenge the negative ones and nurture the positive ones. This simple yet profound shift can transform your life in ways you never imagined. Marcus Aurelius, a renowned Stoic, provides invaluable insights on this. He advises, "Here is a rule to remember in future. When anything tempts you to feel bitter, not, 'This is misfortune,' but, 'To bear this worthily is good fortune.'" This quote encapsulates the Stoic approach to transforming thoughts, changing our perspective on challenges and adversity. At its core, transforming your thoughts involves recognizing that our spontaneous thoughts often come with value judgments that can be misleading and harmful. These judgments are immediate and automatic, labeling experiences as good or bad, fun or boring, successful or failing. The problem is that these judgments are rarely based on the full picture and are often clouded by our emotions and biases. The Stoics teach us that our thoughts are not shaped by reality, but by our perception of it. By changing our perception, we can change our thoughts and consequently our lives. Consider how often we let a single negative thought shape our entire day. If you wake up and immediately think, "Today is going to be awful," that thought sets the tone for everything that follows. It colors your interactions, your decisions, and your overall mood. But what if you could catch that thought and transform it? Instead of, "Today is going to be awful," you could think, "Today might have challenges, but I can handle them." This simple shift can change your entire outlook and experience of the day. One of the Stoic practices for transforming thoughts is to question and challenge them. When you have a negative thought, don't just accept it as true. Reflect on it. Ask yourself if the thought is reasonable, if it is based on facts, or if it is influenced by temporary emotions. For example, after a tough meeting at work, you might think, "I'm terrible at my job." But is that thought reasonable? Was it just one difficult meeting out of many successful ones? Are you letting one experience overshadow your overall competence and achievements? Another powerful Stoic technique is reframing. Reframing involves taking a negative thought and finding a more constructive way to look at it. For instance, if you think, "I failed, and there's no point in trying again," you can reframe it to, "Failure is an opportunity to learn and improve. I can try again with more wisdom." This technique helps you see setbacks as part of the growth process rather than as final judgments on your abilities. The practice of gratitude also plays a significant role in transforming thoughts. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have, from negative aspects to positive ones. When you start feeling overwhelmed by negative thoughts, take a moment to list things you're grateful for. This practice can instantly change your mood and perspective, helping you see the abundance and opportunities in your life rather than the challenges and deficiencies. Furthermore, Stoics emphasize the importance of living in accordance with nature and understanding our role within the larger context of the world. This broader perspective can help transform our thoughts by reminding us that we are part of something greater and that our individual experiences, while significant, are just one piece of the larger puzzle. It encourages us to accept what we cannot change and focus on what we can control, our thoughts and actions. In practical terms, transforming your thoughts might also involve regular journaling, a practice that many Stoics, including Marcus Aurelius, engaged in. Writing down your thoughts allows you to examine them objectively, understand their origins, and decide how you want to address them. It's a way to declutter your mind and gain clarity. Learning to transform your thoughts is about recognizing the power of perception, questioning and reframing negative thoughts, practicing gratitude, and understanding your place in the larger scheme of things. By adopting these Stoic principles, you can cultivate a mindset that not only endures, but thrives in the face of life's challenges. This shift in thinking is not just a mental exercise, but a profound way to reshape your entire approach to life, leading to greater peace, resilience, and fulfillment. The term premeditatio malorum translates to premeditation of evils or anticipation of adversity, and it was a technique regularly employed by Marcus Aurelius and other Stoics to foster resilience and mental fortitude. Imagine starting each day by acknowledging that things might not go as planned. Marcus Aurelius would wake up and remind himself, "The people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." This might sound pessimistic, but it served a crucial purpose. It prepared him mentally for the inevitable frustrations and challenges of daily life. By expecting difficulties, he could approach them with calmness and equanimity when they arose, rather than being caught off guard. The idea behind premeditatio malorum is not to dwell on negative outcomes, but to mentally rehearse how you would handle them. This practice builds psychological resilience. When we visualize potential setbacks and plan our responses, we reduce the shock and emotional impact when those setbacks occur. It's similar to how athletes visualize their performance before a game. They prepare for various scenarios, which enhances their actual performance. Consider a simple analogy. Think of premeditatio malorum as a mental fire drill. Just as practicing a fire drill prepares you to act swiftly and calmly in an actual emergency, mentally rehearsing how you would handle difficulties prepares you to face real-life challenges with greater composure and effectiveness. It's about building a mental muscle that allows you to remain steady and focused under pressure. This technique is deeply rooted in the Stoic understanding of what is within our control and what is not. The Stoics believe that while we cannot control external events, we can control our reactions to them. By anticipating potential problems and deciding in advance how to respond, we take proactive control over our emotional and mental states. This aligns with the Stoic goal of achieving a tranquil mind, undisturbed by external chaos. Premeditatio malorum can be applied to various aspects of life. For instance, before a significant meeting or presentation, you might consider the possible challenges. What if the technology fails? What if you forget your main points? By thinking through these scenarios and planning your responses, you can approach the event with greater confidence and less anxiety. You've already faced these challenges in your mind, so they're less intimidating in reality. Moreover, this practice can enhance our gratitude. When we contemplate potential misfortunes, we often realize how much we take for granted. This reflection can deepen our appreciation for what we have and foster a greater sense of gratitude for the present moment. It shifts our focus from what could go wrong to what is currently going right, balancing our perspective. A practical way to incorporate premeditatio malorum into your daily routine is through journaling. Spend a few minutes each morning writing down potential challenges you might face that day and how you would ideally respond to them. This simple exercise can set a tone of preparedness and calmness for the rest of the day. Additionally, It's beneficial to periodically reflect on past adversities and how you handled them. This reflection can reveal patterns in your responses, highlight areas for improvement, and reinforce your resilience. By recognizing that you have successfully navigated challenges before, you build confidence in your ability to handle future difficulties. Practicing premeditio malorum is about embracing the reality that life is unpredictable and often challenging. By mentally preparing for these challenges, we can face them with greater strength and serenity. This Stoic practice helps us build resilience, maintain control over our emotional responses, and foster a deeper appreciation for the present. It's a powerful tool for anyone looking to navigate life's ups and downs with grace and wisdom. So, the next time you anticipate a tough day, remember the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius and prepare your mind for the journey ahead. Marcus Aurelius emphasized this when he said, "Give yourself a gift, the present moment." This statement is a call to embrace the here and now, to fully immerse ourselves in the current moment, free from the regrets of the past and the anxieties of the future. The Stoics believe that the present moment is all we truly have. The past is unchangeable, and the future is uncertain. Dwelling too much on either robs us of the peace and clarity that come from being fully engaged with the present. When we focus on the present, we can better appreciate the world around us, the people we interact with, and the tasks we undertake. It's about finding joy and fulfillment in the here and now, rather than postponing happiness for some uncertain future. Consider the way we often get lost in our thoughts about what has already happened or what might happen. We replay past mistakes or anticipate future problems, and this mental chatter keeps us from truly experiencing life. For example, how often have you been in a conversation but found yourself thinking about what you need to do later, or regretting something you said earlier? This robs you of the ability to connect genuinely with the person in front of you and to fully appreciate the interaction. Living in the present also means letting go of the need to control everything. The Stoics taught that we should accept what is outside our control and focus on what we can influence, our own thoughts and actions. This acceptance can be incredibly liberating. When we stop trying to control the uncontrollable, we reduce our stress and anxiety, allowing ourselves to be more at peace with whatever comes our way. It's about finding serenity in the midst of chaos by anchoring ourselves in the present moment. One practical way to live in the present is through mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of bringing your attention to the present moment without judgment. This can be done through simple exercises like focusing on your breath, observing your surroundings, or engaging in a task with full attention. By practicing mindfulness, we train our minds to return to the present whenever they start to wander. This can greatly enhance our ability to stay focused and calm, even in stressful situations. The practice of mindfulness has been shown to have numerous benefits, including reduced stress, improved emotional regulation, and increased overall well-being. When we are mindful, we are better able to handle life's challenges with grace and resilience. We become more attuned to our thoughts and emotions, allowing us to respond rather than react impulsively. Another way to cultivate living in the present is through gratitude. Taking time each day to reflect on what we are grateful for helps shift our focus from what we lack to what we have. This practice can bring a sense of abundance and contentment. When we appreciate the small moments of joy and beauty in our daily lives, we anchor ourselves more firmly in the present. Moreover, living in the present encourages us to fully engage with our activities, no matter how mundane they may seem. The Stoics believed in doing every task, no matter how small, with excellence and attention. This means being fully present in whatever you are doing, whether it's washing the dishes, working on a project, or spending time with loved ones. By giving our full attention to our current activity, we can find satisfaction and purpose in every moment. It's also important to recognize the impact of technology on our ability to live in the present. Our constant connectivity can pull us out of the moment as we check emails, social media, and messages. Setting boundaries with technology and creating moments of disconnection can help us reclaim our presence. This might mean having device-free times, such as during meals or before bed, to fully engage with our surroundings and the people we are with. Living in the present is about embracing the here and now, letting go of past regrets and future anxieties, and focusing on what we can control, our thoughts and actions. By practicing mindfulness, gratitude, and fully engaging with our activities, we can cultivate a deeper sense of peace, fulfillment, and resilience. As Marcus Aurelius and other Stoics have shown us, the present moment is a precious gift, and learning to live in it can transform our lives. Marcus Aurelius, despite his responsibilities as a Roman emperor, took time each day to reflect on the simple privilege of being alive. He said, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." This profound sense of gratitude is not just about acknowledging the good things in life, but about fostering a deeper appreciation for every moment and experience. Gratitude shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have, creating a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. It's easy to get caught up in the daily grind and overlook the small joys and blessings that surround us. By consciously practicing gratitude, we train our minds to see the positives, even in challenging situations. This doesn't mean ignoring difficulties, but rather recognizing that there is always something to be thankful for, even in the midst of adversity. One effective way to practice gratitude is by keeping a gratitude journal. Each day, write down 3 things you are grateful for. These can be anything from significant achievements to small everyday pleasures, like a beautiful sunset or a kind gesture from a friend. This simple exercise helps to build a habit of looking for the good in each day, reinforcing a positive outlook and fostering a sense of contentment. Expressing gratitude to others is another powerful practice. Take the time to thank the people around you, your family, friends, colleagues, even strangers who have shown you kindness. This not only strengthens your relationships, but also reinforces your awareness of the interconnectedness of your life with others. Gratitude has a ripple effect. When we express it, we often inspire others to do the same, creating a more positive and supportive environment. In the context of Stoicism, gratitude also involves accepting and appreciating the present moment as it is, without longing for what is not. This is encapsulated in the Stoic concept of amor fati, or love of fate. It's about embracing all aspects of life, including the challenges and setbacks, as part of our journey. By viewing everything that happens to us as an opportunity for growth and learning, we can cultivate a deep sense of gratitude for the entirety of our experience. Gratitude can also be a powerful antidote to negative emotions like envy and resentment. When we focus on what we have and appreciate it fully, we are less likely to feel envious of others. Envy arises from a sense of lack, but gratitude reminds us of our abundance. Similarly, resentment often stems from unmet expectations and perceived injustices. Practicing gratitude shifts our perspective, helping us to let go of these negative feelings and embrace a more positive and forgiving outlook. Moreover, gratitude has numerous psychological and physical benefits. Research has shown that people who regularly practice gratitude experience better sleep, lower stress levels, and improved mental health. Gratitude enhances our overall well-being by promoting a positive mindset and reducing the impact of negative emotions. It helps us build resilience, enabling us to bounce back from setbacks more effectively. Incorporating gratitude into your daily routine doesn't require drastic changes. It can be as simple as taking a few moments each morning to reflect on what you are thankful for, or ending your day with a gratitude meditation. This practice aligns with the Stoic tradition of reflection and mindfulness, encouraging us to live with intention and awareness. Practicing gratitude is a powerful way to enrich our lives and align with the principles of Stoicism. By focusing on what we have, expressing appreciation to others, and embracing all aspects of our experiences, we can cultivate a mindset of abundance and contentment. Gratitude helps us navigate life's challenges with grace, build stronger relationships, and enhance our overall well-being. Every single day, we're faced with moments that test our patience and rattle our calm. Whether it's a traffic jam when you're already late, a coworker's irritating habits, or your phone battery dying in the middle of an important call, life seems full of these little battles. It's not just about these minor irritations, though. It's about how we respond to them. that shapes our days and, ultimately, our lives. It's important to remember that everyone feels angry sometimes. It's part of being human. But here's where Stoicism steps in with its profound wisdom. Stoicism teaches us that while we can't always control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. This is pivotal in transforming our relationship with anger. Think about it. When something goes wrong or someone frustrates us, our first instinct might be to react with anger. But what if, instead, we paused and considered this reaction? Stoicism encourages us to see these moments as opportunities to practice virtues like patience, understanding, and resilience. By acknowledging anger as a natural emotion, we set the stage for learning how to handle it more effectively. The Stoic philosophers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius often discuss the concept of not being swayed by external events, but instead focusing on our internal responses. They believe that our emotions, including anger, come from our judgments about events, not the events themselves. So, when we feel angry, it's often because we're placing a particular value or judgment on what's happened. This understanding opens up a powerful opportunity for us. Each time we feel anger rising, we can ask ourselves, what judgment am I making about this situation? Is there another way to view it? This is not about suppressing or denying your anger. It's about understanding it. By getting to the root of what triggers our anger, we can start to change our responses. For instance, if you get cut off in traffic and feel the anger bubbling up, recognize this as a chance to examine why you react this way. Is it really the action of the other driver, or is it your belief that your route should be obstacle-free? Moreover, acknowledging anger helps us empathize with others who might also struggle with their emotions. This empathy can deepen our connections and improve our interactions. It's about compassion, both for ourselves and for others, as we navigate the complexities of human emotions. This idea is at the heart of Stoic philosophy and is incredibly liberating once you truly grasp it. Think about it. So much of our frustration and anger stems from situations or people we simply can't change, no matter how much we might want to. The Stoics, like the wise Marcus Aurelius, taught that the real power lies in recognizing the difference between what we can control and what we can't. You control your thoughts, your decisions, and your actions. That's it. Everything else is more or less out of your hands. Other people's actions, the weather, the past, and much of the future. But here's where it gets interesting. By focusing on our own reactions and attitudes, we reclaim a tremendous amount of power. Instead of wasting energy on the uncontrollable, we invest it in what we can actually influence. Let's make it practical. Say you're working on a group project and someone isn't pulling their weight. It's easy to get frustrated, right? You might even feel your temper rising, but ask yourself, what part of this situation can I actually control? You can't make your teammate work harder, but you can control how you respond to the challenge. Maybe it's a conversation about expectations, or perhaps it's reallocating work within the group. By shifting your focus like this, you not only reduce your own stress, but also open up more constructive ways to address the problem. Another aspect of this Stoic principle is accepting that some things are just beyond our control. This acceptance doesn't mean resignation. It means understanding where our power truly lies. It's about not letting external events dictate your peace of mind. For instance, if you're stuck in traffic and getting irritated because you're going to be late, pause and think. Can I control the traffic? No. But what can you control? Your reaction. Maybe you turn on an audiobook or some calming music, or use the time to think through your day. The beauty of focusing on what you can control is that it gradually builds a stronger, more resilient mindset. Over time, you'll find yourself less shaken by life's ups and downs because you know where your responsibilities lie and where they don't. This isn't about suppressing your feelings, but about channeling your energies more productively. It's about being fully present in the moment, aware of where we are and what we're doing, without being overly reactive or overwhelmed by what's going on around us. This aligns beautifully with Stoic teachings, which emphasize awareness of our thoughts and actions and maintaining control over our reactions to external circumstances. So why practice mindfulness? Because it helps us to pause between our experiences and our reactions to them. By becoming more mindful, we can choose responses that align with our values and goals instead of getting swept away by emotions. For example, when someone says something that upsets you, instead of immediately reacting or snapping back, mindfulness allows you to take a step back. You notice your emotional surge, but choose to observe it passively, without acting on it immediately. This space that mindfulness creates is not just calming, it's empowering. It gives you the chance to choose a response that you won't regret later. Let's talk about how to incorporate mindfulness into daily life, because it sounds great in theory, but it's in the practice that the real magic happens. One simple technique is to focus on your breathing. When you find yourself feeling anxious or angry, take a moment to concentrate on deep, slow breaths. This focus pulls your mind away from the triggers of stress or anger and brings you back to what you can control: your breath. Another practical method is what I like to call mindful observation. Choose an ordinary task or moment, like drinking a cup of coffee. Focus all your senses on this experience. Notice the aroma, the heat of the cup in your hands, the taste. This practice of engaging fully with the present moment can transform an ordinary experience into a richer, more textured moment. What's fascinating about this is that it trains your brain to apply the same level of awareness to more challenging situations. When anger or frustration arises, you'll be better equipped to handle it with the same focus and calm. Stoicism also teaches us about the impermanence of our experiences. Nothing lasts forever, not even our emotions. Mindfulness complements this by helping us to experience our feelings without judgment. Acknowledge that you're angry, recognize it, but also remind yourself that this anger is just a passing state. It's not who you are, and it doesn't control you, unless you let it. The idea that everything changes and nothing lasts forever is a universal truth that can help us navigate life's ups and downs with more grace and less frustration. It's about understanding that our circumstances, emotions, and even our thoughts are constantly in flux, and learning to embrace this constant state of change rather than resisting it. Think about how often we get upset because things didn't go as planned. Maybe it was a job promotion that didn't come through, a relationship that ended unexpectedly, or a sudden change in our health. Our first reaction might be to resist these changes, to get angry or sad. But Stoicism invites us to look at these situations differently, through the lens of impermanence. When we truly grasp that nothing is permanent, we start to realize that our anger or disappointment is also temporary. This doesn't diminish the importance of our feelings, but gives us a more balanced perspective on them. Embracing impermanence allows us to live more in the present and worry less about the past and the future. If you know that everything is temporary, you begin to appreciate your experiences and the people around you more deeply. You don't take things for granted because you're aware that circumstances can change at any moment. This awareness can be incredibly freeing. It reduces the sting of negative events and enhances the joy of positive ones. Now, how do we practice accepting impermanence in daily life? Start by reflecting on the transient nature of your surroundings and experiences. For example, watch how the seasons change. Observe how your feelings shift throughout the day, or how your relationships evolve over time. These observations can be reminders that change is the only constant. Another way to integrate this into your life is by adjusting how you respond to disruptions or unexpected changes. Instead of reacting with frustration when something doesn't go your way, take a moment to acknowledge that this change is part of a bigger flow of life. It's an opportunity to adapt and grow. Think about a time when something didn't work out as you had hoped, and then something better came along. Often, it's only in hindsight that we see how these changes were beneficial. Stoicism doesn't just ask us to accept impermanence, it encourages us to find strength in it. Each change and ending is a chance to practice resilience and flexibility. By fostering this mindset, we not only cope with life's challenges more effectively, but also learn to move through them with a sense of peace and anticipation for what's next. The Stoics believe that becoming aware of the root causes of our emotions could lead to greater self-mastery. When we understand our emotions, we are better equipped to respond to life's challenges in ways that are aligned with our values and goals, rather than simply reacting out of habit or impulse. Every emotion we experience, whether it's anger, joy, sadness, or fear, is triggered by our perception. For example, if you feel angry when someone interrupts you while speaking, it's worth exploring why. Is it because you feel disrespected? Or perhaps it reflects a deeper insecurity about your voice being heard. By digging into these questions, you can begin to understand not just your reactions, but also the beliefs and values that underlie them. This understanding is crucial because it gives you the opportunity to change your perceptions and consequently the way you feel. Stoicism teaches us that our emotions are predicated on our judgments. The good news is that judgments can be examined and changed. So when you feel a strong emotion, try to step back and ask yourself, what am I believing right now? Is this belief true? Is it helpful? This kind of questioning can be very powerful. It allows you to shift your perspective and choose a different emotional response, one that serves you better. For instance, if you're feeling anxious about a work presentation, it might be because you believe that you must perform perfectly in order to be respected. But is this really true? Likely, your colleagues value your effort and sincerity more than perfection. Recognizing this can alleviate some of your anxiety and help you approach the situation with more calmness and confidence. Practically speaking, journaling can be an incredibly effective tool for understanding your emotions. By writing down what you feel and exploring why you feel it, you can uncover patterns and triggers that you might not be aware of otherwise. This reflection not only helps in the moment, but also builds a sort of emotional intelligence over time that can make you more resilient and adaptable. Another approach is to discuss your feelings with someone you trust, a friend, a family member, or a mentor. Speaking about your emotions can provide new insights and perspectives that you might not have considered. It's often through dialogue that we come to new understandings about ourselves and our relationships. Embracing the Stoic approach to emotions isn't about suppressing what you feel. On the contrary, it's about engaging with your emotions in a proactive and reflective way. It's about taking control of the narrative of your inner life. By understanding your emotions, you're not just reacting to the world, you're actively shaping your experience of it. Stoicism teaches us the value of patience, not just as a way to endure, but as a method to transform our experiences. Patience, according to Stoic philosophy, isn't just about waiting, it's about how we behave while we wait. It's about maintaining our composure and dignity in the face of life's delays and challenges, understanding that these are often outside our control. In our daily lives, we encounter countless situations that can trigger impatience, from a slow-moving line at the grocery store to a traffic jam or a delayed response from a colleague. Our first instinct might be to feel irritated or stressed, but here's where Stoicism comes into play. It encourages us to see these moments as opportunities to practice virtue. Every instance of delay is a chance to exercise patience, to reinforce our ability to stay calm and collected. So, how can we develop patience in practical terms? One effective approach is to adjust our expectations. Often, our impatience stems from a mismatch between our expectations and reality. If we start by acknowledging that delays and obstacles are natural parts of life, we're less likely to get upset when they occur. This doesn't mean lowering our standards, but rather aligning our expectations with the fact that the world won't always operate according to our preferences. Another key method is to use the moments of waiting as opportunities for growth and reflection. If you're stuck in traffic, instead of fuming over the delay, you can turn it into valuable time, listening to an audiobook, practice deep breathing, or simply reflect on your day. This shift in perspective turns a frustrating situation into a productive or relaxing one. Practicing mindfulness is also a powerful ally in developing patience. By being present in the moment and fully engaging with it, we can distance ourselves from the feelings of urgency and restlessness that often accompany waiting. Mindfulness helps us cultivate a peaceful state of mind that buffers us against the stirrings of impatience. Stoicism not only advocates for patience, but also for understanding the impermanence of our current state. Remembering that this too shall pass can help us endure unpleasant situations, whether it's waiting for a delayed flight or enduring a long recovery from an illness. The knowledge that it is temporary makes it more bearable. Finally, celebrating small victories is crucial in developing patience. When you manage to stay calm during a situation that would normally make you impatient, acknowledge and reward yourself for this achievement. This reinforces the behavior and makes it more likely to become a habit. This is one of those transformative experiences that not only changes the way we relate to others, but also profoundly affects our inner peace. Forgiveness in the Stoic sense is not about condoning wrongdoings or forgetting the harm done. It's about freeing ourselves from the emotional burden that comes from carrying grudges. Forgiveness requires a strong sense of self-awareness and control over one's emotions, qualities that Stoics strive to develop. It involves recognizing that our anger and hurt, while natural and valid responses to perceived injustices, are ultimately within our control. This doesn't mean that the process is simple or immediate. Forgiveness can be challenging. It often requires a deliberate, concerted effort to let go of deep-seated feelings of injustice. Consider the power that comes from deciding not to allow someone else's actions to disturb your inner tranquility. This is the essence of Stoic forgiveness. It's about making a conscious choice to not let past actions continually affect your present state of mind. This decision helps you reclaim your emotional energy and focus it on more constructive pursuits that align with your values and goals. Now, how do we start practicing forgiveness in everyday life? It begins with the recognition that all humans are fallible, ourselves included. We all make mistakes, sometimes out of ignorance, sometimes out of malice. Reflecting on our own shortcomings can help us develop empathy towards others, making it easier to forgive. Another Stoic practice is to consider the bigger picture. Often, the things we hold on to are not as significant in the grand scheme of our lives. By focusing on our long-term well-being, which is bolstered by peace and harmony, the immediate sting of grievances can be mitigated. Practicing forgiveness also involves actively reframing our narratives. Instead of viewing yourself as a victim, which can perpetuate feelings of anger and helplessness, try to see yourself as a survivor, or even a hero of your story, one who has overcome challenges and emerged stronger. This shift in perspective not only facilitates forgiveness, but also empowers you in your life's journey. Moreover, engaging in meditation or mindfulness exercises can assist in the process. These practices help calm the mind and provide the space needed to process emotions more rationally, and less reactively. As you sit quietly and focus on your breath, allow thoughts of forgiveness to enter your mind. Picture those you feel have wronged you, and imagine sending them thoughts of goodwill. This doesn't mean you accept the wrong, but you are choosing to release its hold over you. Finally, it's important to understand that forgiveness is a process, sometimes a lengthy one. It doesn't happen all at once, and that's perfectly okay. Each step towards forgiveness, no matter how small, is a step towards a freer, more emotionally balanced life. At its essence, self-control allows us to pause before reacting, giving us the time to consider whether our impulses align with our long-term goals. For instance, if you're trying to lead a healthier lifestyle, self-control is what helps you choose not to eat that late-night junk food. In emotional situations, self-control helps you hold back a harsh word or an angry reply, preserving relationships and maintaining peace of mind. How can we strengthen this essential skill? One effective Stoic practice is to regularly reflect on our actions and their consequences. This could be as simple as taking a few minutes each evening to think about the choices you made throughout the day. Were there moments when you lacked self-control? What triggered it? Understanding these patterns is the first step towards managing them. Another powerful technique is to set clear personal rules for behavior based on your values. Stoicism teaches us that living according to rational principles is key to a good life. By setting and following your own rules, for example, not checking your phone during meals or limiting time spent on social media, you exercise self-control in ways that directly improve your daily life and well-being. Visualization is another tool that can be incredibly helpful. Before entering a situation where you know you might be tempted to act impulsively, take a moment to visualize yourself handling the situation with calm and restraint. Imagine the satisfaction you'll feel from acting in accordance with your principles. This mental rehearsal can make it much easier to keep your cool in the heat of the moment. It's also beneficial to gradually increase your tolerance for discomfort, which is a big part of what self-control is all about. The Stoics believe that by voluntarily exposing ourselves to discomfort, whether it's cold showers, fasting, or resisting urges, we can strengthen our willpower. These practices teach us that we can endure discomfort and that it's often not as bad as we fear. This realization directly feeds into our ability to exercise self-retreat in more complex emotional or social situations. Lastly, remember that practicing self-control is a journey, not a destination. There will be times when you falter. That's just part of being human. What matters is that you recognize these moments, learn from them, and continue to strive for improvement. Each act of self-control, no matter how small, is a victory in its own right and a step towards becoming a wiser, more balanced person. Life is very short and anxious for those who forget the past, neglect the present, and fear the future. This is one of the many wise quotes from ancient philosophy, which teaches us how to live a virtuous and happy life in a chaotic and uncertain world. But how can we apply this to our daily lives? One of the best ways to do that is to develop some nightly habits that will help us reflect on our actions, learn from our mistakes, and prepare for the next day. In this video, I will share with you 7 simple but powerful nightly habits that will make you more resilient, calm, and focused. But before we get into that, I challenge you to not be weak, but rather to be resilient and focused by staying with me till the end of the video. Also, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Habit 1. Review your day. Every night, before you close your eyes, you have a golden opportunity to become a better version of yourself. You have the chance to look back at your day and see how you have lived, how you have acted, and how you have grown. This is not a time to judge yourself harshly or dwell on your failures. This is a time to learn from your experiences and celebrate your successes. This is a time to practice the first habit. Review your day. This habit was taught by Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers who ever lived. He wrote, "When the light has been removed and my wife has fallen silent, aware of this habit that's now mine, I examine my entire day and go back over what I've done and said, hiding nothing from myself, passing nothing by." Seneca knew that by reviewing his day, he could evaluate his actions and thoughts and see how well he had followed the principles of wisdom, justice, courage, and self-control. He could also cultivate gratitude for the things that went well and forgiveness for himself and others for the things that went wrong. By doing this, he could improve his character, his happiness, and his impact on the world. And so can you. All you need to do is ask yourself some simple questions every night, like, what did I do well today? What did I do poorly today? What did I learn today? How can I improve tomorrow? These questions will help you identify your strengths and weaknesses, your achievements and mistakes, your lessons and opportunities. They will help you appreciate what you have and aspire for what you want. They will help you become more aware of yourself and more aligned with your values. They will help you become more resilient, calm, and focused. But don't just ask these questions. Write them down. Writing them down will make them more concrete, more memorable, and more actionable. Writing them down will also create a record of your progress, your challenges, and your growth. Habit 2, meditate on your mortality. Every night, before you drift into sleep, you have a rare opportunity to awaken your soul and ignite your passion. You have the chance to face the ultimate reality of life, death. This habit may sound scary, but it is actually liberating. It is a habit that was embraced by the ancient Stoics, who were fearless and wise. They knew that death is inevitable and unpredictable, and that we should not fear it or avoid it, but rather face it with courage and dignity. They also knew that death can be a source of motivation and inspiration, as it reminds us that our time is limited and precious, and that we should not waste it on trivial things. One of the ways to meditate on your mortality is to use a technique called memento mori, which means remember that you will die. You can do this by imagining that this is your last night on Earth, and asking yourself some powerful questions. How would I feel about my life if I knew I was going to die tomorrow? What would I regret not doing or saying? What would I be proud of or grateful for? These questions will help you put things into perspective, prioritize what matters most, and live each day as if it were your last. They will help you appreciate what you have and pursue what you want. They will help you express your love and fulfill your purpose. They will help you become more resilient, calm, and focused. But don't just ask these questions. Feel them. Feel them in your heart, in your gut, in your bones. Feel them as if they were true, as if this was really your last night on Earth. Feel the emotions that arise, the sadness, the joy, the fear, the gratitude. By feeling these emotions every night, you will create a powerful habit that will transform your life. Meditate on your mortality and make every day count. Habit 3, detach from external things. This means that you should not let your joy or sorrow depend on things that are beyond your power, such as wealth, fame, honor, or other people's judgments. The Stoics knew that the only thing we can master is our own mind and will, and that everything else is subject to fate and fortune. They also knew that external things are not good or evil in themselves, but only in relation to how we view them and respond to them. One of the ways to rise above the world is to use a technique called negative visualization, which means envisioning the worst-case scenario. You can do this by imagining that you have lost or never had some of the things you value or desire, and then asking yourself, how would I endure if this happened? How would I find joy without this? How would I grow from this? By doing this habit, you will be able to weaken your attachment and fear, increase your appreciation and satisfaction, and ready yourself for any possible outcome. So do not be enslaved by the world. Be free from it. Do not let the world define you. Define yourself. Do not let the world define you. Define yourself. Do not let the world define you. Define yourself. If you have made it to this point in the video, you are truly strong, and I know you will make it till the end. Habit 4. Focus on your purpose. This is not a vague or trivial matter, but a vital and noble one. You have a destiny to fulfill, a mission to accomplish, and a legacy to leave behind. You have a spark of divinity within you, and you must fan it into a flame that illuminates the world. The Stoics understood that we are not here by chance, but by providence. We are part of a cosmic order, and we have a duty to uphold it. We are not mere spectators, but active participants. We are not isolated individuals, but interconnected beings. We are not passive consumers, but creative contributors. To focus on your purpose, you must practice prosouche, or attention. This is the art of being mindful and aware of your thoughts, words, and deeds. You must constantly ask yourself questions like, what is my purpose in life? What is the most excellent way to pursue it? What is the most urgent thing to do right now? By doing this habit, you will sharpen your vision, align your actions, and prioritize your tasks. You will not waste time on distractions, but invest it in essentials. You will not drift aimlessly, but move purposefully. Habit 5. Practice self-discipline. What if I told you that you have the power to shape your destiny, overcome any obstacle, and achieve any goal? This is the truth that the ancient Stoics knew and practiced. They knew that the key to living a good life is to practice self-discipline. Self-discipline is the ability to control your impulses and emotions and to act according to reason and virtue. It's the ability to choose what is right over what is easy, what is noble over what is base, and what is lasting over what is fleeting. It's the ability to avoid excesses and vices and to cultivate moderation and virtues. It's the ability to challenge yourself to do something difficult or uncomfortable every day, such as waking up early, exercising, eating healthy, or helping others. By doing this, you will be able to strengthen your willpower, overcome your weaknesses, and improve your skills. You will be able to face any situation with courage, wisdom, and calmness. This habit has the power to transform your life, turning you into a master of yourself and your own story. Make it your nightly habit. Make it your way of life. Habit 6. Relax and sleep well. You've made it to the last habit, and it's a simple one. But don't let its simplicity fool you. This habit is crucial for your well-being, and it can make or break your success. The Stoics knew that relaxation and sleep are not luxuries but necessities. They are not distractions but investments. They are not indulgences but rewards. They understood that relaxation and sleep are the best ways to recharge your batteries, restore your balance, and renew your strength. They also knew how to relax and sleep well using a powerful technique called ataraxia, which means tranquility. You can practice ataraxia by breathing deeply and slowly letting go of any tension or stress, stretching your body and releasing any stiffness or pain, meditating on your purpose or your values, praying to your higher power or your inner wisdom. By doing this habit, you will be able to relax your mind, relax your body, and sleep like a baby. And when you wake up, you will be ready to face the day with confidence, courage, and clarity. This habit is the final touch to your lifestyle, and it will make all the difference. So don't neglect it, don't underestimate it, and don't sacrifice it for anything. Relax and sleep well, my friend. You deserve it. These are the 6 nightly habits that will make you more resilient, calm, and focused. If you practice them consistently, you will be able to live a virtuous and happy life in a chaotic and uncertain world. But don't just take my word for it. Try them for yourself and see the results. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and comment below "I am resilient" to show that you've watched it till the end. We recommend our video on the principles that will immediately transform your life. A long video, but that has a lot of information to give. If you're new here and you want to learn to be strong, subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Thank you for watching. And remember, you have the power to change your life. See you in the next video. Life's most challenging truth is often this: the only barrier between where you are and where you want to be is your decision to rise. It's not luck, it's not perfect timing, and it's not even raw talent. It's you, right here, right now, choosing to believe you're capable of more. This isn't about waiting for the stars to align or for life to hand you an opportunity. The Stoics knew better. Epictetus taught that while we can't control external events, we always control how we respond to them. And today, we're focusing on one of the most transformative responses you can have: the decision to act as if you're the best. Let's be honest, doubt is universal. That nagging voice whispering you're not ready, not qualified, not enough. But what if you didn't need to wait until you felt ready? What if the secret to becoming the best was deciding to carry yourself like you already are? The truth is, progress isn't made by waiting for the perfect moment. It's made by stepping forward with confidence and intent, even when the path ahead feels uncertain. Marcus Aurelius, in his daily reflections, reminded himself to focus on his own actions and to embody virtue in all circumstances. That's what we're diving into today, the mindset shift that can reshape how you face challenges, pursue goals, and live your life. This isn't about arrogance or pretending to be something you're not. It's about unlocking your full potential by embracing the power you already have. If this resonates with you, I have a small favor to ask. Hit the subscribe button. It's free, and it helps us bring more of this content to people like you. Now let's get started. 1. The power of deciding to be the best. The moment you decide to live up to your full potential is the moment your life starts to change. It's not about waiting for the right opportunity or hoping for external circumstances to improve. It's about making an internal decision, a decision to show up every day as the best version of yourself. This idea echoes the teachings of the Stoics, who believe that our true power lies in how we choose to approach life. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The decision to be the best begins with that mindset. This mindset isn't about being perfect or better than others. It's about setting a standard for yourself and committing to continuous growth. The Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful emperors in history, constantly reminded himself to act with virtue, not for glory or praise, but because it was the right thing to do. He believed that every day was an opportunity to strive for excellence, not in competition with others, but in competition with his own potential. When you decide to be the best, you're not saying you'll never make mistakes or face challenges. The Stoics were clear that life is full of obstacles, but they also believed that these obstacles are what shape us. By deciding to be the best, you choose to face those challenges head-on, using them as opportunities to grow stronger and wiser. This is where your life starts to transform. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about making the choice now, in this moment, to act with purpose and confidence. From this decision, everything else flows. You raise your standards, your actions align with your goals, and you begin to move closer to the person you know you can be. That's the power of deciding to be the best. 2. What if I'm not the best? Some of you might be thinking, but I'm not the best. I'm nowhere close. How can I act as if I am? And that's completely understandable. It's natural to feel like you're not at the top. But here's the thing. You don't have to be the best to act like the best. The beauty of this mindset is that it works even when you're not at the top. Acting as if you're the best doesn't mean pretending or being delusional. It's about shifting your mindset to unlock your full potential, and that starts with how you view yourself. This aligns perfectly with Stoicism. The Stoics believed that we have control over our mindset and how we respond to life's challenges. So, even if you're not the best right now, you can still choose to carry yourself with confidence, discipline, and purpose, traits that the best exemplify. When you act as if you're the best, something powerful starts to happen. You begin to believe it, and when you believe it, you start to become it. This isn't some magical thinking or false confidence. It's a proven psychological shift that affects your actions. The Stoics taught us that our beliefs shape our behaviors. When we act as if we are capable and competent, we become more so. This is a self-fulfilling prophecy, a concept the Stoics were well aware of. Take a job interview, for example. If you walk in nervous, doubting yourself and thinking you're not good enough, you're likely going to perform poorly. But if you walk in with the mindset that you are the best person for the job, carrying yourself with confidence, speaking clearly about your skills, and believing in your value, that changes everything. Even if you don't get the job, that shift in mindset prepares you for the next opportunity. You've practiced confidence and built resilience, which will serve you moving forward. So, when you say to yourself, "I'm not the best," the Stoics would remind you, that's not the point. The point is to act as if you are. By doing so, you align your actions with the person you want to become, and your ability to control your life will improve. So, the goal isn't to be perfect, but to continuously strive for excellence, always improving, just as Stoic philosophy teaches us. 3. Why acting like you're the best matters. When I say act as if you are the best, I don't mean strutting around like you're better than everyone else. Far from it. Acting like you're the best isn't about looking down on others or becoming arrogant. It's about holding yourself to the highest possible standard and striving for excellence, not for external validation, but for your own growth. So when I say act as if you're the best, I'm talking about adopting the mindset of someone who is already at the top of their game. This is the kind of mindset we're after. Acting like you're the best isn't about pretending to know everything or never making mistakes. It's about showing up with the belief that you are fully capable of handling whatever comes your way. This belief shapes your actions. When you believe you're the best, you act like it. You carry yourself with confidence, and people notice. The Stoics would remind us that this confidence isn't external, it's internal. It comes from knowing that you're living in alignment with your values and doing your best in every situation. The key difference here is that arrogance seeks to elevate you above others, but acting like you're the best is about lifting yourself up to your own highest potential. It's about striving for excellence while staying humble and grounded, just like the Stoics taught. You're not aiming for perfection, but for progress. Always working on yourself, always learning, and always moving forward. Or, practice makes reality. When you hear the phrase, act as if you're the best, it might feel like pretending at first. And maybe, in a sense, it is. But here's the truth. What you consistently practice becomes your reality. The Stoics understood this well. Seneca famously said, "We become what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. This means that the more you practice something, whether it's confidence, discipline, or resilience, the more it becomes part of who you are. Let's break this down. When you start acting as if you're the best, it might feel unnatural. You might think, who am I to carry myself with such confidence? But the beauty of human nature is that we are incredibly adaptable. The Stoics believed that we are shaped by our thoughts and actions. If you consistently act with confidence, you start to feel more confident. If you make disciplined choices in your life, over time, you become more disciplined. While away this summer, it's not about faking it forever. It's about practicing the qualities you want to embody until they become second nature. Think of it like building a muscle. At first, lifting weights feels hard, even uncomfortable. But as you keep practicing, your strength grows. Acting as if you're the best works the same way. Each time you practice it, you reinforce that mindset, and eventually it becomes less of an act and more of a habit. The Stoics understood this process. Epictetus often reminded his students that we have control over how we respond to the world. By practicing virtuous actions, we align our inner selves with the kind of person we want to become. Let's say you want to become more confident in social situations. At first, you might feel awkward, like you're putting on a show. But the more you practice standing tall, speaking clearly, and engaging with others, the more you begin to feel that confidence. Eventually, it stops feeling like an act, and you realize that you've actually become more comfortable in these situations. The same goes for any area of life. If you practice making healthy choices, over time you become someone who naturally lives a healthier lifestyle. If you practice managing your finances well, you eventually become someone who is financially secure. The Stoic idea of practicing virtue teaches us that we don't have to wait for change to happen. We can create it through our daily actions. The key is consistency. It's not about doing it once and expecting a transformation. It's about showing up every day and practicing the qualities that align with your highest potential. Over time, what started as practice becomes your reality. You become the best version of yourself by repeatedly acting like it. As the Stoics taught, your actions shape your character, and your character shapes your life. So, keep practicing because your reality is being built by what you do each day. 5. Continuous growth. The Stoics believed in the importance of continuous growth, and that's exactly what this mindset is all about. Acting as if you're the best doesn't mean you think you've reached perfection or that you can stop improving. In fact, it's the opposite. It's about committing to a life of constant learning, discipline, and refinement. The Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." This means that no matter how good you become, there's always room for growth. The best people in any field, whether it's a skilled athlete, a successful business person, or a wise philosopher, never stop improving. They remain students of life. When you act as if you're the best, you're committing to this same process of mastery. You're saying, "I'm going to carry myself like the best, and I'm going to put in the work to become the best." This mindset is rooted in humility, not arrogance. The Stoics valued humility deeply. Marcus Aurelius, despite being one of the most powerful men in the world, constantly reminded himself to stay grounded and continue improving. He didn't see his position as the end of the road, but as a responsibility to strive for personal excellence every day. When you adopt this mindset, you're doing the same. You're striving to be better today than you were yesterday, knowing that growth is a lifelong pursuit. Acting as if you're the best means raising your own standards. It means taking responsibility for your personal development in every area of life. In your relationships, for example, it's about asking yourself, what would the best version of me do? How would the best partner, the best friend, or the best parent behave? It's not about pretending to be perfect, but about continuously working to improve and show up as the best version of yourself. It's about continuously working to improve and show up as the best version of yourself. In your health, it means acting as if you're in the best shape of your life. How would you treat your body if you believed you were capable of achieving peak health? What choices would you make in terms of your diet, exercise, and habits? The Stoic path is one of self-discipline and making intentional choices that lead to long-term well-being. 6. Facing weakness. Embracing your shortcomings. When we talk about acting as if you're the best, it's easy to think it means ignoring your flaws or pretending they don't exist. But in reality, it's the opposite. Acting like you're the best means having the courage to face your weaknesses head-on and use them as opportunities for growth. The Stoics were masters at this. They taught that self-awareness and honest reflection are essential for improvement. Healthy, as Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. By the time of his death, Marcus Aurelius had become. Part of that power is understanding where we fall short, not to feel ashamed, but to learn and grow. The best people in any field aren't those who believe they're flawless. They are the ones who understand their shortcomings better than anyone else. But they don't let those shortcomings define them. Instead, they use them as motivation to keep improving. The Stoics believed in embracing challenges and discomfort as part of life's natural course. Epictetus reminded us that the path to mastery requires us to face obstacles with resilience. When we see our weaknesses clearly, we can approach them with a mindset of progress. Think about it this way. If you ignore your weaknesses, they don't go away. In fact, they tend to grow bigger and more disruptive over time. But if you acknowledge them and take steps to improve, you become stronger. The Stoics didn't see weakness as failure. They saw it as an opportunity to practice arete, which means striving for excellence. When you face your weaknesses, you're giving yourself the chance to become better, more disciplined, and more capable. This process requires humility. Acting like you're the best doesn't mean you think you're perfect. It means you're committed to continuous growth. You can be confident in your strengths while being fully aware of where you need to improve. The Stoics, especially Seneca, often wrote about the importance of learning from every experience, even failures. In fact, Seneca believed that failure and setbacks are often our greatest teachers. They reveal where we need to grow and push us to develop the skills or mindset we might lack. The key is to see your weaknesses not as something to be ashamed of, but as a natural part of your development. By facing them with honesty and a desire to improve, you take control of your growth. This is where true strength lies, in the ability to confront what's holding you back and work to overcome it. And the Stoic approach is to view life's challenges, including your own shortcomings, as fuel for becoming a better, more resilient person. When you act as if you're the best, you're not pretending to be perfect. Instead, you're showing that you have the strength to face your weaknesses, learn from them, and grow into the person you aspire to be. This mindset will carry you forward, just as it did for the Stoics, who embraced their flaws, learned from them, and continued on their path toward excellence. Learning graces rather than self-complicity. 7. Elevate those around you. When you act as if you're the best, it's not just about improving your own life. It's about raising the bar for everyone around you. The Stoics believed in the concept of sympathia, the idea that we are all connected and that our actions impact the whole. When you strive for excellence, you inspire others to do the same. Your confidence, discipline, and commitment to growth naturally elevate the people you interact with, whether it's in your family, your friendships, or your workplace. Think about how it feels to be around someone who carries themselves with purpose and clarity. Their energy is contagious. They don't need to say it, but their actions, their presence, show others what's possible. This is how you can influence others, by leading by example. When you act as if you're the best, you become a source of inspiration for those who might be struggling with self-doubt or uncertainty. You show them that it's possible to rise above challenges by adopting the right mindset and staying focused on what truly matters. The Stoics were not concerned with competition in the way we often think of it today. They believed in helping others achieve virtue and wisdom. When you raise your standards and strive for excellence, you're not just lifting yourself. You're creating an environment where those around you feel encouraged to rise with you. Acting as if you're the best means embodying qualities that others respect and want to emulate. By doing this, you not only improve your own life, but also contribute to the growth and success of the people in your circle. It's a ripple effect of positive change, just as the Stoics would have intended. 8. How to handle failure. Failure is something we all face, and the Stoics understood this deeply. They taught that failure is not something to be feared, but rather an inevitable part of life's journey. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the path toward it. When you act as if you're the best, it doesn't mean you believe you'll never fail. It means you approach failure with resilience, knowing that every setback is an opportunity to learn and grow. The Stoics believed in focusing on what you can control. You can't always control the outcome, but you can control how you respond to failure. Instead of seeing failure as a personal defeat, see it as feedback, a lesson on what didn't work and how you can improve. Epictetus reminded his students that we should accept failure as part of life and use it to build our character. Failure isn't a reason to give up, but a reason to keep going, armed with more knowledge and experience. When you face failure with the Stoic mindset, you stop seeing it as something to avoid. Instead, you embrace it as a chance to practice perseverance and adaptability. The best people in any field, whether in business, sports, or philosophy, aren't those who never fail, but those who know how to bounce back stronger each time. As the Stoics taught, our true strength comes from how we rise after we fall. So the next time you fail, remember that it's not the end of the story. It's a crucial step on your journey to greatness. Acting as if you're the best isn't a one-time thing. It's a daily practice. The Stoics believed in the importance of consistent, deliberate action. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, urged himself to approach each day with purpose and intention. He wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." Second sermon, in a world where every smile hides deeper thoughts, and every handshake means more than just a greeting, it's easy to overlook the true nature of a person. Today we'll dive into the hidden layers of trust and deception, exploring the complexities of human relationships. The Stoics remind us that while we can't control the actions of others, we can control how we respond and understand them, which shapes our connections. Join me as we uncover the hidden forces in everyday interactions and learn the wisdom that can help us live not only successful, but truly meaningful lives. Stick with us, and by the end, you'll have a clearer understanding of how to approach the world, not just carefully, but with true insight. If you appreciate what we're doing, a quick, free favor I'll ask is for you to hit the subscribe button. Also, make sure you don't skip any part of the video to fully grasp the valuable insights and stories we're about to share. Let's dive in. Number 1. The constant critic. This person seems to have made it their mission to find fault in everything around them. Every project you undertake, every idea you propose, every aspect of your personality might never seem good enough for them. Their feedback, often lacking the warmth of constructive criticism, feels more like relentless judgment, chipping away at your confidence and self-esteem with each comment. The constant critic often operates under the guise of just being honest or helping you improve, but there's a fine line between helpful criticism and discouraging nitpicking. Their relentless critiques can create a toxic environment where, instead of growing, you find yourself guarding every action, every word, for fear of criticism. This stifles creativity and initiative, making you doubt your abilities and value. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself disappears." This powerful Stoic reminder teaches us not to internalize the harsh words or negative perceptions of others. Stoicism invites us to consider the source of criticism and to reflect on whether there is truth and value in it. If there is something to be learned, use it to your advantage. If not, let it roll off you like water off a duck's back. To deal with a constant critic, it's essential to maintain perspective. Understand that their criticism says more about their own worldviews, insecurities, or personal frustrations than it does about your capabilities or worth. Construct boundaries to protect your mental space. You can listen, assess, and then choose whether to accept or discard their words. Engage with them from a place of strength, acknowledging the feedback without allowing it to diminish your sense of self-worth. In Stoic practice, we learn to focus on our own actions and reactions, which are within our control, rather than attempting to control the opinions or behavior of others, which are not. By applying this principle, you can preserve your inner peace and continue your journey of personal growth, even in the face of constant criticism. Number 2. The manipulative friend. This is someone who at first glance seems to understand you better than anyone else. They nod at all the right moments, and their empathetic smiles seem tailor-made just for you. But as time marches on, a disturbing pattern emerges. You begin to notice that their understanding isn't fueled by genuine care, but rather it's a strategic play, using your vulnerabilities for their personal gain. They are like the chess players of social interactions, each move calculated, not to help you, but to advance their position. In your moments of sharing and vulnerability, they're not just listening, they're collecting information. This data isn't stored away to support you. Instead, it's often weaponized, used to push you towards decisions and actions that serve their interests, not yours. Their guise of care is just that, a disguise, and under this mask is not the ally you thought you had, but a strategist who views relationships as tools to be used rather than bonds to be cherished. Correct them. Now, Stoicism teaches us to seek clarity over comfort, truth over pleasant illusions. Marcus Aurelius advised us to be wary of the impressionable nature of our own minds and the intentions of those around us. He would likely counsel us to observe not just what friends say, but what they do, their actions, how they discuss other friends when they're not around, how they handle your secrets, and how they respect your boundaries. These are the true indicators of their character. So, how do you deal with a manipulative friend? Start by setting firm, clear boundaries. Share selectively, understanding that not every internal thought needs external validation, especially from someone whose motivations are questionable. Slowly distance yourself from their influence and invest more in relationships that bring positivity and growth. Real friends enhance your life and inspire you to expand rather than contract. They add layers to your existence through support and genuine care, not subtract from it through manipulation and deceit. Number 3, the inattentive listener. You know the type. They nod in agreement and might even throw in a vague, but you can tell they're not really with you. They're physically present, yes, but mentally they've checked out to some distant place, far from the conversation at hand. It's like talking to a wall that occasionally nods. These interactions can be incredibly frustrating because they lack the fundamental essence of communication, genuine exchange, and understanding. Relationships, be they personal or professional, thrive on mutual understanding and active engagement. When someone consistently fails to pay attention, it sends a clear message. What you're saying isn't important to them. This behavior not only stifles the flow of ideas, but also erodes the emotional connection that true listening can forge. Effective communication is a two-way street, and when it becomes one-sided, the relationship suffers. The Stoic practice of present-mindedness teaches us to fully engage with the task at hand. For Stoics like Marcus Aurelius, listening attentively is not just a courtesy, it's a duty. It's about respecting the person speaking to you by giving them your full attention, reflecting the Stoic belief in the importance of every human interaction. If you find yourself frequently on the other end of an inattentive listener, there are a few Stoic strategies you might employ. First, ensure your own communication is clear and engaging. Sometimes simply asking direct questions can snap the listener out of their reverie and bring them back to the moment. If that doesn't work, a gentle call-out might be necessary. Let them know you've noticed their distraction and invite them back into the conversation. However, if the pattern persists, it might be worth considering the value this person adds to your life. Are they giving you the respect and attention you deserve? If not, it may be time to redirect your energy towards relationships where mutual engagement and respect are given freely. Number 4. The superficially friendly. At first glance, they seem like the most personable individuals you could meet. With a wide smile, they'll ask about your day and make all the right noises that suggest they care. But, as you soon might discover, their warmth has little depth, resembling more a shallow puddle than a welcoming ocean. These individuals are the social butterflies, gracefully moving from one group to another, never really settling long enough to form deep, meaningful connections. In the world of these superficially friendly people, interactions are often a series of pleasant exchanges that skim the surface of politeness, but never dive into the essence of true friendship. They might be present at every party and appear in all your social circles, but when the chips are down, their presence is often as fleeting as their commitment. True friendship, as we know, isn't just about sharing laughs in the sunlight. It's about standing together in the storm, something these individuals may find too daunting. Stoicism teaches us the importance of genuine relationships and the value of a small circle of close friends over a wide network of acquaintances. Seneca emphasized the quality of friendships rather than quantity. He advocated for relationships where mutual respect and sincerity prevail, guiding us to seek friends who mirror our own values and who provide a stable, reliable presence in our lives. To navigate the realm of the superficially friendly, it's crucial to recognize the signs early. Enjoy their company if you must, in those light-hearted moments that require nothing more than casual interaction. However, invest your emotional energy wisely. Reserve the depths of your trust and the details of your vulnerabilities for those who have proven themselves in times of both joy and adversity. Cultivating discernment in your social interactions isn't just wise, it's necessary to protect your emotional well-being and ensure that your circle remains authentic. Number 5. The constant irritator. This person seems to have mastered the art of irritation. With their knack for poking and prodding, they know exactly how to get under your skin, whether it's through subtle digs, backhanded compliments, or slight provocations. They engage in a sort of emotional chess game. Their goal? To unsettle you, to knock you off balance. For their amusement or advantage, the constant irritator thrives on the reaction they can elicit from you. Each annoyed glance, each sigh of frustration is a win for them, a testament to their ability to manipulate the emotional currents around them. This can be incredibly draining, as it feels like you must constantly guard against their next move, always bracing for the small yet persistent annoyances they create. However, here is where the Stoic teachings can become your stronghold. Stoicism tells us that external events and people's actions don't upset us. Rather, it's our judgments about them that do. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This wisdom is particularly applicable when dealing with the constant irritation. By adjusting your perceptions, by deciding that their actions will not dictate your emotional state, you empower yourself. You take control back from the irritator and place it firmly within yourself. Practicing this Stoic detachment involves recognizing the intent behind their irritations. Once you see that their behavior is designed to unbalance you, you can choose not to let it affect you. Imagine their words and actions losing power, fading into the background noise of your life. It's not about ignoring them or pretending the irritation doesn't exist, but rather about changing your response to it. You can acknowledge their attempt to unsettle you without granting them the victory of seeing you perturbed. Engaging with a constant irritator thus becomes less about confronting each irritation and more about maintaining your inner peace. This is the ultimate demonstration of strength. Not that you never feel irritated, but that you can move beyond it, preserving your tranquility amidst the storm they try to stir. Number 6. The empathy-lacking individual. This type of person can be particularly challenging to deal with because they seem almost blind to the emotional landscapes of others. They navigate through life focused solely on their own needs and goals, often at the expense of those around them. Their conversations may center overwhelmingly on their achievements, their problems, and their perspectives, with little regard for anyone else's. In interactions with an empathy-lacking individual, you might find that your feelings and experiences are consistently dismissed or outright ignored. This isn't just about a lack of emotional intelligence. It's a fundamental disconnect in recognizing and valuing the humanity in others. Such individuals often leave a trail of bruised relationships behind them, puzzled as to why their interactions are fraught with conflicts and misunderstandings. Stoicism offers a profound remedy to this mindset. It teaches us the importance of looking beyond ourselves and understanding that the human experience is interconnected. Stoics like Epictetus emphasized the role of empathy in human ethics. He taught that we should listen and respond to others with kindness and understanding, recognizing that we are all part of a larger community, each with our own struggles and triumphs. If you find yourself dealing with someone who lacks empathy, Stoicism advises not to meet their indifference with anger or resentment. Instead, see this as an opportunity to practice patience and to lead by example. Show them empathy, not because they necessarily deserve it, but because it's the virtuous thing to do. However, it's also important to set boundaries. Protecting your emotional well-being is crucial, and sometimes that means limiting your exposure to those who drain it. Engaging with an empathy-lacking individual requires a balance of compassion and self-preservation. While you can attempt to model empathetic behavior, you must also recognize when to step back and not allow their self-centeredness to impact your peace. Remember, as Marcus Aurelius pointed out, what we do now echoes in eternity and compassion, even in the face of apathy. This is not just about changing them, it's about holding true to your values, regardless of how others choose to act. Number 7. The eternal victim. This individual seems to live in a perpetual state of crisis. No matter the day, the season, or the circumstance, something is always going terribly wrong for them. But what's particularly challenging about the eternal victim is not just the frequency of their misfortunes, it's their apparent unwillingness to do anything about them. They seem to thrive on the sympathy and attention their woes attract, using their endless stream of problems as a tool to draw others in and keep them close. And the prevalence of suicide among the victims can be pointed to as a sign to some extent as well. The eternal victim's tales of woe can be emotionally draining. You might find yourself constantly pulled into their dramas, spending energy and time trying to help solve problems that mysteriously never seem to get resolved. Their dependency on your support might feel rewarding at first, as if your presence truly matters. However, it often leads to a one-sided relationship, where your efforts are taken for granted and your own needs and issues are sidelined or ignored. Stoicism offers a powerful framework for dealing with the eternal victim. Stoics like Epictetus taught that we should concern ourselves with things within our control and accept those that are not. When interacting with an eternal victim, it's crucial to recognize the limits of your influence. You can offer support and guidance, but you cannot change their situation. Only they can do that. The Stoics would advise us to practice empathy, but also detachment. Empathize with their pain, but detach from the notion that you are responsible for fixing their life. It's also wise to set boundaries with the eternal victim. If their chaos begins to encroach on your peace, it may be time to reassess how much of your time and emotional energy you can afford to give. Helping them doesn't mean getting swept up in their endless cycle of crises. Instead, encourage them to take action and seek solutions rather than merely consoling them. This approach not only protects your well-being but also pushes them toward the kind of self-reliance and accountability that Stoicism values. Remember, while compassion is a virtue, it must not come at the cost of your own stability and happiness. The Stoics believed in the importance of inner peace and equanimity, and maintaining these in the face of another's perpetual chaos is both a challenge and a practice in Stoic philosophy. In doing so, you honor not only your mental and emotional health, but also foster a more balanced and healthy relationship with the eternal victim. Number 8. The toxic individual. This person is often a complex blend of many negative traits, each more damaging than the last. They might exhibit behaviors like manipulation, constant negativity, jealousy, or dishonesty. Being around them can feel like being caught in a storm, where your positive outlook and inner peace are constantly under threat. Their presence in your life can lead to feelings of doubt, insecurity, and even fear, as they seem to have a knack for souring what should be joyful experiences and turning strengths into perceived weaknesses. This person is often a complex blend of many negative traits, each more damaging than the last. They might exhibit behaviors like manipulation, constant negativity, jealousy, or dishonesty. Being around them can feel like being caught in a storm, where your positive outlook and inner peace are constantly under threat. Their presence in your life can lead to feelings of doubt, insecurity, and even fear, as they seem to have a knack for souring what should be joyful experiences and turning strengths into perceived weaknesses. Dealing with a toxic individual is challenging because their influence can seep into various aspects of your life, clouding your judgment and affecting your interactions with others. They often create an environment where you're always on the defensive, always having to shield yourself from their next negative outburst or manipulative tactic. This can be exhausting and deeply unsettling, challenging your mental and emotional stability. Epictetus offers wisdom that is particularly applicable when dealing with toxic people. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This guidance encourages us to focus on our responses rather than trying to change the toxic individual. It reminds us that our power lies in our reactions, our decisions, and our ability to maintain self-retrieve in the face of adversity. Social distancing. Implementing this Stoic approach involves setting firm boundaries with the toxic person. Clearly define what is not acceptable in their behavior towards you and be consistent in enforcing these limits. It's crucial to protect your space and peace of mind. If the toxic behavior continues despite your efforts, it may be necessary to distance yourself entirely from the individual. While this can be a difficult decision, especially if the toxic person is a close friend or family member, it's sometimes the healthiest choice you can make. Surround yourself with people who uplift you and encourage your growth. Cultivate relationships that bring positivity, mutual respect, and genuine support. By doing so, you reinforce your resilience against toxicity and foster an environment where you can thrive. Number 9. The two-faced individual. This person masters the art of duplicity, being charming and friendly to your face, but turning to slander the moment your back is turned. Their skill in wearing different masks for different audiences is disconcerting. They can make you feel like a confidant one moment, and the next, you might overhear them undermining you to others. It's a bewildering and hurtful experience to realize that someone you thought was a friend could so easily betray your trust. The two-faced individual not only strains individual relationships, but can also create a toxic environment around them. Their behavior fosters distrust, conflict, and insecurity among a group, whether it be in a workplace, a circle of friends, or within a family. Their actions are often driven by a desire for personal gain, be it power, influence, or mere amusement at causing disruption. Stoicism teaches us to focus on our own virtue and integrity, and not to be swayed by the deceitful actions of others. Seneca advised to choose our company wisely, asserting that being alone is better than being in bad company. Stoicism also prompts us to reflect on our responses to betrayal. It's natural to feel hurt and angry when you discover someone's duplicity, but Stoics would counsel us to rise above these initial emotional reactions. They would urge us to respond with reason and dignity, maintaining our own ethical standards and not stooping to their level of deceit. In dealing with a two-faced individual, the most effective strategy is to distance yourself once their true nature is revealed. Reducing your emotional and personal investment in the relationship protects you from further harm. Moreover, it's important to cultivate relationships with people who value authenticity and transparency. Surround yourself with individuals who support and uplift you, both in your presence and in your absence. Choosing to interact with genuine people aligns with the Stoic principle of living a life of virtue. It not only fosters a healthier emotional environment, but also enables you to grow and thrive, unaffected by the underhanded tactics of those who choose duplicity over integrity. Throughout our lives, we encounter myriad situations where our resolve, patience, and endurance are tested. Whether it's a career path that no longer aligns with our core values, a relationship that has run its course, or any environment that stifles our growth rather than fostering it, the question of whether to stay the course or cut our losses is a universal struggle. Think about the last time you felt stuck or conflicted about leaving a challenging situation. Was there a voice inside you suggesting it might be time to move on? Yet another voice urging you to stay and fight harder? This inner conflict is not just about making a choice. It's about understanding the deeper values and principles that guide our decisions. Now let's introduce a fascinating perspective that can shed light on this topic. Stoicism. The Stoics, ancient philosophers who preached the virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, provide a powerful framework for tackling our dilemma. They taught the importance of distinguishing between what is within our control and what lies beyond it. In facing a situation where we feel powerless or diminished, Stoicism asks us to question, can we influence the outcome? If not, might our energies be better directed elsewhere? Stoicism also teaches us about the concept of preferred indifference, external things that are nice to have but not essential to our core happiness and virtue. When we agonize over whether to walk away, we often fear losing these preferred indifferences. But by anchoring ourselves in Stoic wisdom, we can view our situation with greater clarity and equanimity, focusing on our inner character and what truly matters. In today's conversation, we will delve deep into these themes, exploring how Stoic principles can help us navigate the challenging decision of when to walk away. We'll discuss how to recognize when perseverance turns into self-sabotage, how to differentiate between meaningful struggle and needless suffering, and how to embrace the liberating act of letting go when it serves our greater good. Join me on this journey of self-discovery and empowerment, where we learn to listen to our inner wisdom, align with our deepest values, and make the courageous choices that shape our destiny. If this journey of introspection and courage speaks to you, I invite you to subscribe to our channel and stay with us throughout the entire video. Every moment is crafted to inspire and empower you, and I promise you won't want to miss a single part of this transformative exploration. So grab a cup of tea, settle in, and let's start this meaningful conversation together. When we talk about walking away, what images or scenarios come to your mind? Is it quitting a job that drains your spirit day after day? Is it ending a relationship that's lost its warmth and become a source of constant pain? Or perhaps it's stepping back from a long-cherished dream that, despite your best efforts, remains frustratingly out of reach. The decision to walk away can manifest in countless aspects of our lives, each with its unique challenges and implications. Yet at the heart of these decisions is a common thread: the recognition that something fundamental is misaligned with our well-being and potential for growth. But why is making this decision so fraught with difficulty and hesitation? After all, if something consistently causes us distress or hinders our progress, wouldn't the logical choice be to leave it behind? Here's where the wisdom of Stoicism offers illuminating insights. The Stoics remind us that human beings are creatures of habit and attachment. We cling to the familiar, even when it's harmful, because it provides a sense of security and predictability. We're wired to resist change, fearing the uncertainty and loss that it might bring. Moreover, Stoicism teaches us about the value of endurance and resilience. These virtues are indeed commendable and often necessary for achieving great things. However, they can also tether us to situations that no longer serve us if we fail to apply them wisely. The Stoic principle of the dichotomy of control urges us to discern between what we can change and what we must accept. Sometimes, the bravest and most prudent action is to recognize when our efforts cannot alter the nature of an unhealthy job, a toxic relationship, or an unattainable goal. It's in these moments that walking away isn't an admission of defeat, but a testament to our understanding and courage. Yet defining the issue of when to walk away is not about prescribing a one-size-fits-all answer. It's about encouraging a deep personal inquiry into our lives. It's about asking ourselves, are we holding on to something because it truly enriches us, Or are we driven by fear, inertia, or misplaced loyalty? Are we sacrificing our peace and potential for the sake of an illusory security or a misguided sense of duty? Stoicism teaches us to focus on living in harmony with nature, which includes our own nature, understanding our emotions and responding to life's challenges with virtue and reason. But how does this relate to knowing when to walk away? At its core, Stoicism helps us differentiate between what we can control and what we cannot. It encourages us to invest our energy wisely, focusing on our actions, attitudes, and responses rather than external outcomes beyond our control. Consider a situation where you're faced with persistent unhappiness or frustration. Perhaps it's a job that conflicts with your values or a relationship that's become toxic. Stoicism would urge you to ask, can I change this situation? Do I have power over these external circumstances? If the answer is no, the philosophy would then guide you toward accepting what you cannot change and contemplating whether staying in the situation aligns with living a virtuous and contented life. Now let's weave in another Stoic concept, the idea of amor fati, or love of fate. This principle encourages us to embrace whatever life throws at us, finding the opportunity for growth and learning in every situation. However, loving our fate doesn't mean resigning ourselves to endure unnecessary suffering or clinging to situations that diminish our well-being. Instead, it's about recognizing when our struggles serve a purpose and when they merely hold us back from realizing our potential. Through a Stoic lens, walking away is not about escaping challenges or shirking responsibility. It's about making a reasoned choice to direct our lives toward what is truly good for us, which sometimes means letting go of what we cannot change to focus on what we can. It's a testament to our ability to act with wisdom and courage, honoring our nature by seeking environments and relationships that allow us to flourish. As we further explore these theoretical perspectives, we'll delve into specific Stoic teachings and how they can inform our decisions at life's crossroads. We'll discuss how embracing Stoic virtues, wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation can empower us to make choices that resonate with our deepest values and aspirations. Have you ever heard the saying, experience is the best teacher? Well, it's true. Learning from real-life situations can profoundly impact our understanding and decision-making. When we muster the courage to walk away from situations that no longer serve us, we're not just turning our backs on something, we're stepping forward into new possibilities. But what exactly are these benefits? How does walking away open up avenues for personal growth and happiness? And how does Stoicism, with its deep roots in wisdom and virtue, help us appreciate these benefits even more? Firstly, walking away can lead to a profound sense of liberation. Imagine the weight lifting off your shoulders when you finally release a burden you've been carrying, perhaps a toxic relationship, a stifling job, or an unattainable goal. This newfound freedom allows you to breathe, to realign with your core values, and to invest your energy in pursuits that truly resonate with your authentic self. Stoicism teaches us the value of freedom, not as an external condition, but as an internal state of being. By choosing to walk away, we exercise our freedom to choose our path, embodying the Stoic ideal of living in accordance with nature, our own true nature. Moreover, walking away can catalyze personal growth and self-discovery. It's often in the aftermath of a difficult departure that we learn the most about ourselves, our resilience, our values, our desires. These insights are invaluable, shaping our character and guiding our future choices. Stoicism encourages us to view every experience as an opportunity for learning and growth. Thus, when we walk away from a negative situation, we're not just escaping negativity. We're embracing the chance to develop virtues like wisdom, courage, and temperance, which are central to a well-lived life. Another significant benefit is the opportunity to cultivate healthier relationships and environments. By leaving a toxic situation, we create space for more positive and nourishing connections to enter our lives. Whether it's finding colleagues who support and inspire us, friends who uplift and understand us, or partners who respect and cherish us, walking away sets the stage for more fulfilling interaction. In Stoicism, the concept of oikeiosis refers to the natural inclination to connect with and care for others, suggesting that fostering healthy relationships is essential to our well-being and moral development. Lastly, walking away can reaffirm our agency and self-respect. Making the decision to leave, especially in difficult circumstances, is a powerful assertion of our worth and autonomy. It's a declaration that we value ourselves enough to walk away from anything that diminishes us. Stoicism teaches us to find our self-worth not in external accolades or possessions, but in our capacity to live virtuously. By choosing to walk away from situations that conflict with our values, we honor our intrinsic dignity and cultivate a sense of inner peace and self-assurance. As we explore these benefits, I encourage you to consider them in the context of your own life. Reflect on the times you've had the courage to walk away, and how those choices have shaped your path. And if you're currently facing a crossroads, contemplate how these insights might inform your decision. Remember, walking away isn't just about what you leave behind. It's about the journey ahead and the growth, freedom, and fulfillment that await when you choose the path that's right for you. Deciding to walk away is rarely straightforward. It's a path fraught with challenges and complexities, each demanding our courage, reflection, and discernment. But what exactly makes this decision so daunting? And how can Stoic philosophy help us navigate these turbulent waters with greater clarity and resilience? One of the foremost challenges is the emotional turmoil associated with walking away. Whether it's guilt, fear, regret, or sadness, a whirlwind of emotions can cloud our judgment and hinder our ability to make a decision aligned with our best interests. Stoicism, however, offers a valuable perspective. It teaches us to observe our emotions without being overwhelmed by them. By acknowledging our feelings and understanding their transient nature, we can make reasoned choices rather than reactive ones. The Stoics emphasize the importance of apatheia, a state of inner tranquility achieved by managing our passions and maintaining a rational perspective. This doesn't mean becoming emotionless, but rather developing the emotional resilience to face difficult decisions with composure and clarity. Another significant challenge is the fear of the unknown. Walking away often means stepping out of our comfort zone and into uncertain territory. What lies ahead? Will we regret our decision? Such questions can be paralyzing, yet Stoicism encourages us to embrace uncertainty as an inherent part of life. It teaches us to focus on the present, doing our best with what's within our control and accepting what's beyond it. By cultivating a sense of detachment from outcomes, what the Stoics call ataraxia, or undisturbedness, we can overcome the fear of the unknown and move forward with confidence in our ability to adapt and thrive, regardless of circumstances. Moreover, societal expectations and pressures can make it difficult to walk away. We may worry about judgment from others, disappointing those we care about, or defying cultural norms. Here, Stoicism reminds us of the importance of living according to our own values and judgments, rather than being swayed by external opinions. The Stoic principle of autonomy asserts our right to govern ourselves, making decisions based on our reasoned understanding of what's good and right. By honoring our inner compass and standing firm in our convictions, we can navigate societal pressures with integrity and authenticity. Lastly, there's the challenge of letting go of what we've invested, our time, energy, emotions, or resources. This is where the Stoic concept of impermanence can guide us. Recognizing that everything is subject to change and loss helps us loosen our grip on the status quo and make peace with the necessity of moving on. It encourages us to find fulfillment not in external circumstances, but in our capacity to live virtuously, irrespective of our situation. As we consider these challenges and considerations, let's reflect on how Stoicism not only illuminates the obstacles we face, but also empowers us to confront them with wisdom, courage, and equanimity. Remember, the decision to walk away is a deeply personal and often difficult one, but by anchoring ourselves in Stoic principles, we can approach it with greater clarity, strength, and a sense of peace, knowing that it's a step toward honoring our true selves and cultivating a life of genuine flourishing. As we ponder the decision to walk away, it's essential to navigate this crossroad with both heart and mind. Making such a choice can be daunting, yet with the right guidance and a Stoic mindset, we can approach this decision with clarity and confidence. How do we then discern the right course of action, and how can Stoic wisdom illuminate this path? Let's delve into some guidance and advice that can help steer us in the right direction. Firstly, introspection is key. Take a moment to truly connect with yourself, to listen to your inner voice and identify what you truly value and desire in life. Ask yourself, does this situation align with my core values? Is it conducive to my growth and well-being? Reflecting on these questions allows us to make decisions that resonate with our authentic selves. Stoicism teaches us the virtue of self-awareness, encouraging us to know ourselves deeply and live in accordance with our nature. By aligning our choices with our values, we live with integrity and purpose, ensuring our actions are coherent with our true essence. Next, consider the concept of impermanence and the ever-changing nature of life, as highlighted by Stoicism. Acknowledge that both staying and walking away will lead to new experiences and challenges. Embrace the idea that change is an integral part of growth and development. When contemplating walking away, remind yourself that new beginnings are often hidden in endings. By accepting the flow of life, you can move forward with a sense of peace, understanding that change brings opportunities for learning and transformation. Moreover, engage in a reasoned analysis of your situation. Stoicism doesn't advocate for rash or emotion-driven decisions. Instead, it encourages us to use our faculty of reason to evaluate our circumstances logically. Consider the pros and cons, the potential outcomes, and the impacts of your decision. Seek advice from trusted individuals who can offer different perspectives, but remember, the final choice is yours. As Stoics, we are reminded of the importance of using our judgment and reason to navigate life's challenges, ensuring our decisions are well considered and rational. Another piece of Stoic advice is to prepare mentally for the consequences of your decision. Visualize the scenarios that might unfold from both staying and walking away. Practice negative visualization, a Stoic exercise where you contemplate the worst-case scenarios to reduce anxiety about the future and build resilience. By mentally preparing for various outcomes, you can fortify yourself against fear and uncertainty, embracing whatever the future holds with strength and equanimity. Lastly, commit to your decision with courage and conviction. Once you've deliberated and chosen a course of action, move forward with determination. Stoicism teaches us the value of courage, not just in facing adversity, but also in making tough decisions that align with our well-being and principles. Remember, it's normal to feel apprehensive about stepping into the unknown, but embracing this uncertainty with courage can lead to profound personal growth and fulfillment. As we draw this discussion to a close, it's important to pause and reflect on the journey we've embarked upon together. The decision to walk away, laden with complexity and emotion, is a profound testament to our human experience. It's a decision that calls for wisdom, courage, and deep self-awareness. And while the path may be fraught with uncertainty and challenges, it's also strewn with opportunities for growth, liberation, and self-discovery. In the light of Stoicism, we are reminded that our power lies in our ability to choose our responses to the external world, to align our actions with our core values, and to pursue a life marked by virtue and meaning. Stoicism doesn't just offer philosophical musings. It provides practical tools and a robust framework to live a fulfilled and resilient life. It teaches us that while we cannot control external events, we have the utmost control over our judgments, intentions. As you stand at the crossroads, considering whether to stay or to walk away, remember the Stoic virtues: wisdom, to discern the best path; courage, to follow through on your decision; justice, to consider the impact on yourself and others; temperance, to maintain balance and self-control amidst change. Embrace the Stoic practice of reflection, envisioning the kind of life you wish to lead and the person you aspire to be. Let these insights illuminate your path, whether it leads you to stay and persevere or to step into the unknown with faith in your heart and clarity in your mind. Remember, walking away is not an end, but a beginning, a chance to realign with your authentic self, to cultivate new relationships and experiences, and to grow in ways you never thought possible. As Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor and philosopher, once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." If you have been wronged, or if a situation no longer serves your highest good, choose to respond not with bitterness or regret, but with strength, dignity, and a forward-looking gaze. In conclusion, whether you choose to walk away or to stay, do so with deliberation and purpose. Let your decision reflect your deepest values and aspirations, and as you move forward, carry with you the lessons of Stoicism. That peace comes from within, that we are the architects of our reality, and that every choice we make is an opportunity to cultivate virtue, resilience, and joy. Have you ever noticed how just a few seconds of intense anger can cause more damage than you thought possible? Imagine this. In just the time it takes to snap your fingers, relationships can be strained and days can be ruined. It's startling, isn't it? How powerful and potentially destructive a single moment of anger can be. But what if I told you that this same powerful force, when understood and harnessed, can become a profound tool for personal growth and strength? Today we dive deep into the ancient yet incredibly relevant world of Stoicism. It's not just about enduring hardship, but transforming our responses to them for greater peace and clarity. I invite you all to engage in this conversation. Comment below with your thoughts and experiences regarding anger. How open are you to exploring Stoic ways to master your emotions? If you're someone who seeks to grow, who loves to challenge your own boundaries of understanding, make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video. Spread the word and help others discover the power of Stoicism. And stay tuned, especially if you're skeptical about what Stoicism can offer. This video is packed with insights that might just change your mind. Together, we'll explore not just the theory, but the practical applications of Stoicism in controlling anger, with real-life examples and actionable advice. It promises to be an enlightening experience, so watch till the end to gain a full understanding of how to transform anger from a destructive impulse into a constructive force. Let's get started. Have you ever suddenly found yourself in the middle of a heated argument, heart racing, with words spilling out that you instantly wish you could take back? That moment, that explosion of anger, seems to come from nowhere, right? It's almost like a switch flips inside us. One minute everything is fine, and the next, we're swept up in a wave of emotions so strong that it can feel uncontrollable. This is what I like to call the burst of anger. A sudden release that can disrupt not just your day, but potentially your life. Think about the last time you felt this burst of anger. Maybe it was a disagreement with a friend or a frustration at work. It's something we've all faced. Anger is not just a simple emotion. It's a complex response that can lead to regrettable actions and hurtful words. And let's be honest, it often leaves a trail of damage in its wake, from strained relationships to missed opportunities for understanding and connection. But what if I told you there's a different way to handle this burst? This is where the wisdom of Stoicism comes into play. Stoics teach us that we may not have control over every situation we encounter, but we can control our response. It's not about suppressing your anger or pretending it doesn't exist. It's about recognizing that moment of eruption and choosing a different path. Stoicism offers us tools to pause and reflect instead of react. It teaches us to look at anger through a lens of awareness and understanding. Why am I angry? What triggered this response? By asking these questions, we start to take power back from our impulsive reactions and begin to manage our emotions more constructively. This approach doesn't diminish the validity of our feelings, but empowers us to handle them with clarity and strength. It's about transforming what seems like an uncontrollable outburst into a moment of choice. Every time you feel that surge of anger, remember, this isn't just an emotional response. It's an opportunity to grow, to embody the Stoic virtues of wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that has endured through the centuries, offers a unique lens through which we can view our emotions, especially those as volatile and impactful as anger. So, what do the Stoics say about anger? Simply put, they believe that anger stems not from the external events we experience, but from our internal judgments and reactions to those events. Now, you might be wondering, how does that help me when I'm actually angry? According to Stoicism, the key lies in recognizing that we have the power to question and adjust our immediate reactions. For instance, when someone cuts you off in traffic, your instant reaction might be anger. Your heart starts pounding, you might yell or gesture at the other driver, and your mood is off for the next few hours. But here's the Stoic twist. Instead of succumbing to anger, you pause. You reflect on why you're angry. Is it truly because of the other driver, or is it because you've allowed their actions to disturb your peace? This reflection is at the heart of the Stoic approach to anger. It's about stepping back and asking, what is within my control? You can't control the traffic, the other driver, or even the fact that you were cut off, but you can control your response. This doesn't mean you don't feel the rush of emotion. It means you acknowledge it and then choose not to let it dictate your actions. Stoicism teaches us that our emotions, anger included, should be indicators, not dictators. They signal to us that something is happening that might require our attention, but they shouldn't sweep us away into reactive behavior. When we look at anger through this Stoic lens, it becomes less about suppressing anger and more about managing it. It's not suppression because you're not denying or ignoring your feelings. You're acknowledging them, analyzing them, and then making a conscious decision about how to proceed. This perspective is incredibly empowering. Think about it. If you can master this Stoic practice, how many situations would be less stressful? How much more effective could your communication be? How much more peace could you bring into your life? As we continue this discussion, I invite you to consider the Stoic idea that virtue is the sole good. This doesn't just mean moral excellence, but refers to the idea of living in accordance with reason and wisdom, especially in the face of emotions like anger. By striving toward virtue, we can transform potentially destructive anger into constructive responses that align with our deepest values. So, as we unpack these ideas, remember that Stoicism isn't just about enduring life's challenges. It's about thriving through them by harnessing our inner strength and wisdom. Controlling anger doesn't mean we never feel angry. Rather, it's about managing our response when that feeling arises. Here's a roadmap you can use to cultivate a more measured reaction when you're tempted to let anger take the wheel. First and foremost, recognize the onset of anger. This is crucial. Stoicism teaches us to be observant of our inner states. Notice when your body begins to show signs of anger. Maybe your heartbeat accelerates, your breathing gets shallow, or you start to clench your fists. These are your body's signals, alerting you that it's time to intervene. Once you recognize these signs, the next step is to pause. This is where the power of Stoicism really shines. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor and philosopher, emphasized the importance of pausing to separate our initial reactions from our deliberate actions. By pausing, you give yourself a moment to step back from the immediate emotional response. This doesn't have to be long. Sometimes just a few seconds can make a significant difference. During this pause, engage in reflective thinking. Ask yourself, why am I feeling angry? Is it because your expectations weren't met? Is it because you feel disrespected? Understanding the why behind your anger can help you address the root cause rather than just the symptoms. This step is about responding with reason rather than reacting out of emotion. Now let's talk about reappraisal of the situation, which is a classic Stoic strategy. This involves reframing the event that triggered your anger. For example, if someone has acted in a way that angers you, instead of viewing it as a personal attack, consider alternative explanations. Perhaps they're having a bad day, or they're unaware of the impact of their actions. This shift in perspective can significantly reduce the intensity of your anger. Another practical step is to focus on what you can control. Stoicism draws a firm line between what's within our control and what's not. You can't control other people's actions, the past, or the fact that certain things have already happened, but you can control your response, your thoughts, and your actions moving forward. Concentrating on these aspects reduces feelings of helplessness and frustration, which are often fuel for anger. Implementing calming techniques is also vital. Once you've paused and reflected, use techniques like deep breathing, counting to 10, or even stepping away from the situation if possible. These methods aren't just about cooling down. They're about giving your rational mind time to regain control from your emotions. Lastly, practice regular reflection. Stoicism isn't just about reacting well in the moment. It's also about preparing for future challenges. Regularly reflect on your day or your reactions to certain situations. What triggered your anger? How did you handle it? What could you do better next time? This ongoing practice builds your resilience and equips you with more effective strategies for managing anger. By integrating these steps into your daily life, you align more closely with Stoic principles, turning each burst of anger into an opportunity for personal growth and wisdom. Remember, the goal isn't to eliminate anger entirely, but to master it in such a way that it no longer controls you. Each step you take is a step toward not just greater peace, but also deeper understanding and more effective living. Let's take a deeper look at how we can put Stoicism into action, particularly when it comes to transforming our experiences of anger into opportunities for growth and reflection. Stoicism isn't just about handling anger passively. It's about actively converting it into something constructive. One of the most empowering Stoic principles is the concept of using every obstacle as a means to practice virtue. Anger, like any other obstacle, challenges us to practice patience, courage, and wisdom. When you feel anger rising, ask yourself, what is this anger teaching me? It could be showing you where your expectations might be unrealistic, or where you might need to develop greater empathy. For example, consider a situation at work where you feel repeatedly frustrated by a colleague's actions. Instead of letting this build into resentment or outbursts of anger, use this as a Stoic exercise. Each instance can be a moment to practice patience, to communicate your feelings constructively, or to reinforce your boundaries effectively. Here, anger becomes a signal, a cue that something needs your attention, perhaps a part of your own response mechanisms that you can refine and improve. Moreover, turning anger into opportunity means focusing not just on controlling outbursts, but also on cultivating an underlying serenity that comes from Stoic acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation. It means recognizing and adapting to things as they are. When you accept that certain things are beyond your control, like other people's actions or life's unpredictable events, you free yourself from the burden of trying to force things to be different. This acceptance can significantly alleviate feelings of anger. Another practical way to put Stoicism into action is through what Marcus Aurelius called turning the obstacle upside down. Every time you're faced with something that makes you angry, it's an opportunity to turn the situation on its head and extract something beneficial from it. This could mean learning to communicate more clearly, setting more realistic expectations, or even just understanding your own triggers more deeply. Each angry moment can be flipped to reveal a lesson or a stepping stone to better self-mastery. Stoic practice also involves reflecting on the impermanence of our emotions. Anger feels intense and all-consuming when it hits, but like everything else, it passes. Reminding yourself of this can help lessen the grip of anger. You can say to yourself, "This too shall pass," and focus on maintaining your composure in the moment, knowing that the intensity of your anger will diminish with time. Lastly, share these lessons with others. Stoicism teaches that wisdom is not just for personal benefit, but is something to be shared. By discussing how you turned an angry moment into a learning opportunity, you can help others see their challenges in a new light. This not only reinforces your own learning, but also extends the benefit beyond yourself, turning personal growth into communal wisdom. So, as we navigate through our days, let's try to view each anger-inducing incident as a chance to apply Stoic wisdom, to grow in virtue, and to contribute to a more rational, composed world. It's about seizing those moments of anger and transforming them into something that not only enhances our lives, but also the lives of those around us. Empowerment through Stoicism is about more than just managing our anger. It's about finding strength and resilience within ourselves that we might not have realized we possessed. When we talk about empowerment in Stoicism, We're talking about the power to lead our lives with a sense of purpose, peace, and perspective that remains stable no matter the external circumstances. Stoicism teaches us that true empowerment comes from within. It doesn't rely on external validation or circumstances. Instead, it builds on our ability to control our own responses to the world around us. Consider this. How often have you felt at the mercy of your emotions, tossed around by feelings of anger, frustration, or disappointment? Stoicism offers a different path. It invites us to step back and ask ourselves, can I choose a different response? Do I have the power to see this differently? And the answer more often than not is yes. This self-empowerment is realized through the Stoic practice of focusing on what is within our control. You can't control what others say or do. You can't control the past, and you certainly can't control the global events that impact your life. But you can control your thoughts, your actions, and your responses. When you internalize this, every moment of frustration or anger becomes an opportunity to practice this principle. You start to see challenges as chances to exercise your agency and autonomy. For instance, when you're faced with a difficult situation that stirs anger, Stoicism empowers you to choose a response that aligns with your values. Instead of reacting impulsively, you can respond with deliberation and integrity. This might mean taking a deep breath and deciding to address a conflict with calm words, or it might mean choosing to walk away from a situation that is not beneficial to engage with. Moreover, Stoicism empowers us by changing our relationship with our emotions. Instead of being overwhelmed by anger, we learn to recognize it as a natural response that we can observe, understand, and manage. This emotional intelligence does not just alter our interactions, it changes the way we lead our lives. We become more resilient as we're no longer derailed by every emotional upheaval, and more adaptable, capable of thriving in a variety of circumstances. Empowerment also comes from the Stoic practice of self-reflection. By regularly examining our choices, behaviors, and reactions, we gain deeper insights into our character and motivations. This reflective practice not only helps us make better decisions in the future, but also fosters a profound sense of self-awareness and self-acceptance. We learn to trust ourselves, to lean on our internal compass, rather than being swayed by every passing storm. And finally, empowerment through Stoicism is about contributing to the greater good. Stoicism teaches that we are part of a larger community and that our choices impact others. By choosing to respond to situations with reason and calm, we contribute to a more rational and peaceful world. We lead by example, showing others that it is possible to respond to life's challenges with grace and strength. In embracing Stoicism, we find a powerful ally in our quest for a fulfilled and balanced life. So as we continue on this journey, let's remind ourselves of the incredible strength that lies within us, ready to be harnessed through the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. It's not just about controlling anger. It's about unlocking a level of personal power and resilience that transforms all aspects of our lives. This isn't about suppressing what you feel. It's about understanding and directing your emotions in a way that's productive and healthy. Stoicism provides us with tools to not only confront our feelings, but to transform our entire approach to dealing with emotions, especially challenging ones like anger. Let's unpack this a bit. In Stoicism, one of the core principles is that our emotions are largely the result of our judgments and beliefs. When we feel angry, it's often because we've made a judgment about a situation or person, that they've wronged us, that an injustice has occurred, or that something should not be the way it is. Here lies a powerful opportunity. If we can change our judgments, we can change our emotional responses. To master our emotions, we start by examining these judgments critically. Ask yourself, why do I believe this situation is bad? Is it within my control? Can I look at this differently? This type of questioning is central to Stoic practice and fosters a kind of emotional agility that can be incredibly freeing. Imagine you're stuck in traffic, and you start to feel that familiar rise of frustration. A Stoic approach would encourage you to analyze that frustration. You might think, being angry won't clear the traffic. Can I use this time productively instead? Perhaps this is a good moment to listen to a podcast or an audiobook. Suddenly the situation hasn't changed, but your perception of it has, and so has your emotional state. This is where the concept of amor fati, or love of fate, comes into play. It's a Stoic mindset that invites you to embrace whatever happens as an opportunity. It's about more than just acceptance. It's a deep appreciation for life as it unfolds, even when it unfolds in unexpected ways. When you start to practice amor fati, you're not only managing your anger better, but you're also cultivating a profound peace that comes from the confidence that you can handle anything that comes your way. Moreover, mastering emotions with Stoicism means developing a strong sense of inner fortitude. Every time you choose not to lash out in anger, you strengthen your character. You start to build a reputation with yourself as someone who is dependable, stable, and calm. This internal trust is crucial. It's the foundation of self-esteem and personal integrity. And let's not forget the power of preparation. Stoics are big on preparing mentally for what might go wrong. This isn't pessimism, it's practical wisdom. By thinking ahead about how you might deal with potential frustrations or anger-inducing situations, you equip yourself with a toolkit for emotional management. When those moments arise, you're not caught off guard. You have a plan, and you have practices in place, like deep breathing, reframing your thoughts, or stepping back to gain perspective. Mastering your emotions with Stoicism isn't a quick fix. It's a lifelong journey of self-reflection, practice, and growth. It requires consistency, honesty with oneself, and the courage to face up to our emotions in a fundamentally different way. But the rewards are immense. Not only do you gain control over your anger and other emotions, but you also gain a serene and resilient spirit that can significantly enhance your quality of life. Did you know that the secret to transforming your life's biggest challenges into your greatest opportunities might have been discovered over 2,000 years ago? Imagine facing life's storms with a calm so powerful that nothing could shake your inner peace. Sounds like a superpower, right? Well, it's not just a fantasy. This ancient superpower is an age-old philosophy that's as practical today as it was in the bustling markets and marble halls of ancient Rome and Greece. Stoicism teaches us that while we can't control every aspect of our lives, we have absolute power over how we choose to react. And in today's world, where uncertainty seems to be the only certainty, these teachings could be the anchor we've all been searching for. So, whether you're dealing with stress, facing adversity, or simply looking to find more joy in the everyday, stick around. Today, we're diving deep into Stoicism, uncovering its timeless wisdom, and discovering how it can transform not just the way we think, but the way we live. 1. Focusing on what's in your control. Have you ever found yourself stuck in traffic, fuming over the delay, or scrolling through your phone only to get upset over a negative comment someone left on your post? It happens to the best of us. It's almost like our day-to-day life is filled with these little tests, challenging our mood and peace of mind at every turn. But here's a game-changing perspective from the world of Stoicism that can turn all that frustration on its head. Stoicism, this incredible philosophy that dates back to ancient Greece and Rome, hands us a powerful tool, focusing on what's in our control. The great Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Think about that for a second. Traffic, bad weather, negative comments, these are all outside our control. We can't change them, no matter how much we wish we could. What we can change, however, is how we react to them. This idea isn't just ancient wisdom, it's backed by modern psychology too. Carl Jung, a giant in the field of psychology, famously stated, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." This aligns perfectly with this practice. It's about recognizing that the only real power we have is over our own reactions, thoughts, and actions. Let's break it down a bit. Say you're in that traffic jam, late for an important meeting. You can spend that time stewing in anger, honking your horn, and stressing out, which, let's be honest, won't make the cars ahead move any faster. Or you can take a deep breath, accept the situation, and maybe use the time to listen to a podcast, an audiobook, or simply enjoy some music. The traffic hasn't changed, but your response to it has. And with that shift, your stress levels drop, and your day looks a bit brighter. This principle of focusing on what you can control extends far beyond just dealing with traffic or weather. It applies to our personal goals, our reactions to others, and our approach to obstacles in life. As Marcus Aurelius, another Stoic heavyweight, reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. So, next time you find yourself getting worked up over something outside your control, remember these wise words from our friends. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If it's not, let it go. Focus on your reaction, your mindset, and your actions. This simple shift can have a profound impact on your stress levels and overall happiness. It's not always easy, but it's worth practicing every day. Remember, it's about progress, not perfection. And as we learn to focus more on what's in our control, we'll find ourselves not just surviving life's challenges, but thriving in spite of them. 2. Embracing obstacles as opportunities. Stoicism teaches us the art of embracing obstacles as opportunities. It sounds counterintuitive, right? Most of us are programmed to view obstacles as just that, barriers to our success and happiness. But Stoics like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus flip this narrative on its head. They tell us, when life throws you a curveball, instead of asking, why me? Ask, what can I learn? This is a game changer. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, penned in his personal writings, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. What he means here is that every obstacle, no matter how daunting, not only tests our resilience, but also teaches us valuable lessons. It's about finding the silver lining in tough situations and using it to fuel our growth. This perspective isn't just ancient philosophy, it's backed by modern thinkers too. The famous psychologist Carl Jung said, "What you resist persists." By fighting against obstacles, we give them more power over us. But by accepting and learning from them, we can overcome them. This mindset is about transforming challenges into stepping stones towards becoming stronger and wiser. Let's make it practical. Say you're facing rejection from job applications. It's easy to fall into a spiral of self-pity and doubt. But what if you viewed each rejection as feedback? Maybe there's a skill you need to improve, or a new strategy for your job search. That shift in perspective can turn a series of rejections into a path for professional development. Another example is personal conflicts. They're uncomfortable and stressful, but they also offer a chance to practice patience, empathy, and communication skills. Every disagreement is an opportunity to understand different viewpoints and refine our conflict resolution abilities. The essence of embracing obstacles as opportunities lies in asking ourselves, what can this situation teach me? Instead of being passive victims of circumstance, we become active learners and problem solvers. This doesn't mean that facing obstacles becomes easy, but it does mean that we approach them with a mindset geared toward growth and learning. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is the heart of Stoicism. It's about seeing beyond the immediate pain or frustration of an obstacle and finding the lessons and opportunities it presents. So, when you're faced with a challenge, big or small, try to pause and reframe it. Ask yourself what you can learn from the situation and how it can make you stronger and wiser. Remember, obstacles aren't just hurdles to overcome, they're opportunities to grow. By adopting this mindset, we can navigate life's ups and downs with more grace, resilience, and wisdom. 3. living in the present moment. It's something we hear about all the time, right? Live in the now. But what does that really mean, and why is it so important? Living in the present moment is about fully embracing and experiencing where you are at this very second, not letting your mind wander off to the worries of tomorrow or the regrets of yesterday. It's about realizing that life, with all its beauty, challenges, and surprises, happens in the now. This concept isn't new. It's been a cornerstone of philosophy, echoed by great minds like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, and reiterated by modern psychologists and thinkers. Let's start with the Stoics. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment." He understood that the power of living in the present lies in its ability to ground us, to clear our minds of distractions, and to allow us to appreciate the richness of life as it unfolds. But why is it so hard to stay present? Our minds are often cluttered with thoughts, worries about what's next, or replaying things that have already happened. This constant mental noise pulls us away from the beauty and potential of the here and now. As the famous psychologist Carl Jung put it, the least of things with a meaning is worth more in life than the greatest of things without it. Living in the present moment gives meaning to the small, everyday experiences, enriching our lives beyond measure. Aristotle talked about the importance of being mindful of the present to achieve eudaimonia, or a state of being happy, healthy, and prosperous. He believed that by focusing on the here and now, we could live a virtuous life, making the most of our human experience. So, how can we practice living in the present? It starts with mindfulness. The art of paying attention to the present moment without judgment. When you eat, savor each bite. When you walk, notice the feeling of the ground under your feet. Listen actively when someone is speaking to you, instead of planning what you're going to say next. These simple acts of mindfulness bring us back to the present, making our lives richer and more meaningful. Seneca offered this wisdom: "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." He understood that anxiety about what's to come or what has been only serves to diminish our happiness in the now. Living in the present isn't about ignoring the future or forgetting the past. It's about finding a balance where we learn from our past and plan for our future, without letting those activities consume our present. It's in this balance that we find peace and contentment. Remember, every moment is an opportunity to reset and refocus on the now. It's in the present that we live, love, and make memories. So, let's make a conscious effort to be more present in our lives. Let's cherish the now, for this moment, right here, is where life truly happens. 4. Building self-discipline. I know the word self-discipline might bring to mind images of rigid schedules and a life devoid of fun, but let's reshape that picture together. Self-discipline is not about restricting your life. It's about empowering yourself to make choices that align with your deepest values and long-term aspirations. It's choosing what's right for you, not what's easy in the moment. At its core, building self-discipline is about mastery over ourselves. It's about saying yes to things that serve us and no to things that don't, even when it's tough. Think about it, whether it's sticking to a workout routine, saving money instead of impulse buying, or turning off Netflix to focus on a project. These choices might not deliver instant gratification, but they pave the way for long-term satisfaction and success. Stoic philosophy has a lot to say about self-discipline. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This powerful statement highlights the essence of self-discipline. It's about controlling our impulses, emotions, and actions despite the external temptations and distractions that life throws our way. Seneca offers wisdom on the subject too. He advises us to be steadfast and control our desires, rather than being controlled by them. He understood that true freedom comes from within, from our ability to govern ourselves and our appetites. But why is self-discipline so critical? Aristotle, the ancient Greek philosopher, sheds light on this. He believed that we achieve excellence and virtue through habit. By practicing self-discipline, we cultivate habits that lead us toward our best selves. It's not about occasional acts of willpower, but about consistently making choices that reflect our values and goals. Building self-discipline also ties into modern psychological understanding. Carl Jung, a pioneer in psychology, emphasized the importance of integrating all aspects of our personality to live fully. This integration requires self-discipline, as we must navigate the desires of different parts of our psyche, choosing paths that contribute to our overall well-being and growth. So, how can we build self-discipline in our daily lives? Start small. Pick one area you want to improve, whether it's your diet, exercise routine, or spending habits. Set clear, achievable goals and take it one day at a time. Remember, every time you make a choice that aligns with your goals, you're building the muscle of self-discipline. Epictetus reminds us, no great thing is created suddenly. Self-discipline is built through small, consistent actions. It's about progress, not perfection. Every day presents new opportunities to practice self-discipline, to choose actions that move us closer to who we want to be. Building self-discipline is a journey. It's about finding balance between what we want now and what we want most. It's about making choices that might be hard in the moment, but will bring us closer to our goals, happiness, and peace in the long run. Now, let's commit to this journey together, supporting one another and choosing what's right, not what's easy. Remember, in the realm of self-discipline lies the path to achieving our dreams and living in the life we truly love. 5. Developing emotional resilience. When life throws its curveballs, we all experience a whirlwind of emotions. Feeling angry, sad, or frustrated is a natural part of being human. But here's the kicker. It's not just about the emotions we feel. It's about how we handle them. That's where the magic of emotional resilience comes in. Emotional resilience is like this superpower that allows us to navigate through life's storms with grace and come out stronger on the other side. It's about acknowledging our emotions, understanding them, and then taking positive steps to move forward, rather than being swept away by the tide of our feelings. The Stoics had a lot to say about this. Marcus Aurelius, for example, reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This profound insight touches the essence of emotional resilience. It's about recognizing that while we might not have control over what happens to us, we have control over how we respond. Our emotions don't have to control our actions. Seneca offers wisdom on facing adversity without losing our composure. He teaches that life's hardships are tests of our character and resilience. By facing our feelings with understanding and patience, we can grow wiser and more robust. But how do we develop this emotional resilience? It starts with self-awareness. Being mindful of our emotions and reactions helps us understand ourselves better. It's okay to feel what we're feeling, but instead of reacting impulsively, we can choose to respond in a way that aligns with our values and long-term well-being. But how do we develop this emotional resilience? It starts with self-awareness. Being mindful of our emotions and reactions helps us understand ourselves better. It's okay to feel what we're feeling, but instead of reacting impulsively, we can choose to respond in a way that aligns with our values and long-term well-being. Aristotle spoke about the golden mean. finding the balance between excess and efficiency. This concept applies beautifully to emotional resilience. It's about finding a balanced response to our emotions, not suppressing them or letting them overpower us. Carl Jung, a pioneer in psychology, emphasized the importance of integrating all aspects of our psyche to achieve wholeness. Part of this process involves confronting our emotions, understanding them, and learning from them. This is at the heart of developing emotional resilience. So, what can you do when you're in the grip of strong emotions? First, give yourself permission to feel. Acknowledge your emotions without judgment. Then, take a step back and try to understand what triggered these feelings. This reflection can provide valuable insights into your emotional patterns and triggers. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is a powerful reminder that our reactions to our emotions can shape our experiences. Instead of being reactive, we can choose to respond in a way that is constructive and healing. Developing emotional resilience is a journey. It involves practicing mindfulness, self-reflection, and patience. It's about building a toolkit of coping strategies, like journaling, talking to a trusted friend, or practicing relaxation techniques. Most importantly, it's about treating yourself with kindness and compassion as you navigate through your emotions. Emotional resilience is not about never feeling negative emotions. It's about learning to ride the waves of those emotions with grace and coming out on the other side stronger and more self-aware. By developing emotional resilience, we empower ourselves to face life's challenges with courage and poise. Let's embrace this journey together, supporting each other and becoming more emotionally resilient, and ultimately living a more fulfilling life. 6. Memento mori. Remember, you will pass away. The Stoics used this concept not to create fear, but to inspire a deeper appreciation for every moment. They believed that by keeping the inevitability of death in mind, we would live more fully, consciously, and with gratitude for the present. Marcus Aurelius in his meditations often reflected on the transience of life, encouraging us to live in a way that's true to our values and to make the most of the time we're given. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think, he wrote. This isn't about being morose. It's a call to action, a reminder to focus on what truly matters, to let go of petty concerns, and to live with purpose and integrity. Seneca, too, spoke about the shortness of life, urging us not to waste time on trivialities, but to focus on creating a meaningful existence. He believed that being mindful of death encourages us to live more wisely and to cherish our relationships and experiences. Epictetus emphasized the importance of focusing on the present and making the best use of our time. By remembering that we won't live forever, we're more likely to live ethically and to appreciate the beauty and richness of life. How can we incorporate memento mori into our own lives without it feeling like a dark cloud over our heads? It starts with shifting our perspective. Instead of seeing the awareness of death as something fearful, we can view it as a powerful motivator to live our lives to the fullest. It's about embracing the present, not postponing our dreams or happiness for some undefined future that's not guaranteed. Think about the things you've been putting off. Maybe it's pursuing a passion, reconnecting with loved ones, or simply taking time to appreciate the small joys of everyday life. Memento mori reminds us not to take our time for granted. It encourages us to live more authentically, to say what we mean, to love openly, and to be present in our lives. This concept also teaches us to appreciate the impermanence of life, which in turn deepens our gratitude for the moments we have. When we remember that our time is limited, we're more likely to cherish our experiences, to live more mindfully, and to express our gratitude for the people and moments that enrich our lives. So, let's use memento mori, not as a source of fear, but as a catalyst for growth, gratitude, and a deeper appreciation of life. Let it remind us to make choices that align with our deepest values, to cherish our relationships, and to savor the beauty of the present moment. Remembering that we will die one day encourages us to live more fully today. In embracing memento mori, we find a powerful reminder to live, not in fear of death, but in celebration of life. Let's make every moment count, not because we're afraid of its end, but because we're in love with life itself. Let's live in a way that, when our time does come, we can look back with no regrets, knowing we lived fully, loved deeply, and appreciated the incredible journey that life is. 7. Practicing gratitude. It's fascinating how such a simple concept can profoundly impact our lives. Gratitude is about shifting our focus to what we have, rather than dwelling on what we're missing. This practice can be a real game changer, especially on those days that feel like an uphill battle. The Stoics, wise as they were, had a lot to say about gratitude. They believed that happiness doesn't come from having more, but from appreciating what we already have. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the importance of focusing on the present and finding joy in the simple things. He said, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." This is gratitude in its purest form, recognizing the value of life itself and the many gifts it offers us each day. Seneca talked about how our desires can lead us astray, always chasing after more and never finding true satisfaction. He suggested that by focusing on what we have and understanding that the best things in life are already within our grasp, we can find real contentment. Epictetus, known for his followers to appreciate their current circumstances, whatever they might be, he believed that by accepting and finding value in our present situation, we could live a more fulfilled life. But how do we practice gratitude, especially when life throws curveballs our way? It starts with making it a daily habit. Each morning or evening, take a moment to reflect on 3 things you're grateful for. It could be as simple as a warm cup of coffee, a conversation with a friend, or the beauty of a sunset. This practice helps rewire our brains to focus on the positive, boosting our mood and overall outlook on life. Gratitude also means embracing challenges and finding lessons within them. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we can ask, "What can I learn from this?" This shift in perspective helps us appreciate our experiences, both good and bad, as valuable steps on our journey. Moreover, practicing gratitude helps us build stronger connections with others. By expressing appreciation for the people in our lives, we not only brighten their day, but also strengthen our own resilience. A simple thank you can go a long way in showing someone that they're valued and loved. Aristotle spoke about the importance of recognizing the good in our lives and striving for a virtuous life. He believed that gratitude was key to achieving eudaimonia, or true happiness, as it allows us to appreciate the goodness around us and within ourselves. Even modern psychology supports the benefits of gratitude. Studies show that people who practice gratitude regularly experience less anxiety, sleep better, and have a more positive outlook on life. As Carl Jung said, the word happiness would lose its meaning if it were not balanced by sadness. By acknowledging and being grateful for the full spectrum of our experiences, we find a deeper, more authentic form of happiness. So let's make gratitude a cornerstone of our daily lives. Let's celebrate the small victories, cherish the moments of connection, and find joy in the simple pleasures. By focusing on what we have, not on what we're missing, we can cultivate a sense of abundance and happiness that shines from within. Remember, it's not happiness that brings us gratitude. It's gratitude that brings us happiness. Let's fill our glasses half full, raise them high, and toast to the beauty of gratitude in our lives. Cheers to finding the silver lining, even on the cloudiest of days. 8. Focusing on personal excellence. The Stoics had a profound understanding of personal excellence. They believed that excellence, or virtue, is the sole good, and that everything we do should aim toward living a virtuous life. Marcus Aurelius, for instance, is a prime example of someone who strived for personal excellence. He once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This simple yet powerful statement encapsulates the essence of personal excellence. It's about embodying the values we admire and striving to live by them every day. Seneca emphasized the importance of self-improvement and continuous learning. He advocated for a life lived in accordance with nature and reason, suggesting that true excellence comes from within and is reflected in our actions and choices. Epictetus highlighted the role of personal responsibility in achieving excellence. He taught that our reactions, emotions, and will are within our control, and mastering them is key to living a life of virtue. But what does focusing on personal excellence look like in our day-to-day lives? It starts with setting personal standards based on our values and aspirations, not on societal expectations or the achievements of others. It's about knowing who we are, understanding our strengths and weaknesses, and taking consistent steps toward improvement. Personal excellence is also about resilience. It's about how we respond to setbacks and failures, not just our successes. As Aristotle said, excellence is never an accident. It is always the result of high intention, sincere effort, and intelligent execution. It represents the wise choice of many alternatives. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. This means embracing challenges as opportunities to learn and grow, rather than seeing them as obstacles. Moreover, focusing on personal excellence involves cultivating a growth mindset, a concept championed by modern psychology. It's the belief that our abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work. This mindset encourages us to embrace challenges, persist in the face of setbacks, and see effort as a path to mastery. Personal excellence also means living authentically. It's about being true to ourselves and our values, even when it's not easy. It's about making choices that reflect who we are and who we want to be, and taking pride in our journey, including both the struggles and the triumphs. Practicing gratitude, as we discussed earlier, ties into personal excellence too. By appreciating what we have and where we are on our journey, we foster a positive outlook that supports our growth and well-being. So let's commit to focusing on personal excellence. Let's set our own standards, embrace our unique paths, and take pride in our progress. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about being proud of who we are and how we live. It's about celebrating our efforts, learning from our experiences, and always striving to be the best versions of ourselves. Together, let's make personal excellence not just a goal, but a way of life. 9. Not caring what others think. In a world saturated with social media, where likes, follows, and comments often dictate self-worth, it's easy to fall into the trap of valuing ourselves through the lens of others' opinions. But here's a liberating truth. Your worth isn't based on external validation. It's about being true to yourself, embracing your authenticity, and living in alignment with your values. The Stoics, those ancient philosophers we often turn to for timeless wisdom, had much to say about this. They taught that our inner peace and freedom come from focusing on what's within our control, our actions, our thoughts, and our integrity, not the ever-changing opinions of others. Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, "I have often wondered how it is that every man loves himself more than all the rest of men, but yet sets less value on his own opinion of himself than on the opinions of others." This striking observation highlights a paradox many of us live with, valuing others' judgments over our own self-assessment. Seneca echoed this sentiment by emphasizing the importance of living a life true to one's self, not one shaped by the expectations or approval of others. He believed that true contentment comes from within, from living a life that aligns with our principles and values. Epictetus taught that worrying about others' opinions is outside our control and therefore not worth our energy. He encouraged focusing instead on our own actions and on living virtuously, as that's where our true power lies. So, how can we start caring less about what others think and more about being true to ourselves? First, understand that you are the author of your life story. You have the power to define your worth, not society, not your social media followers, nor the people around you. Ground your self-esteem in who you are, the values you stand for, the kindness you spread, and the effort you put into being your best self. Second, practice self-reflection. Ask yourself, whose life am I living? Am I making choices based on my desires, or am I trying to fit into someone else's mold? Reflecting on these questions can help realign your actions with your true self. Third, embrace vulnerability. Being true to yourself means being open about your flaws and all, understanding that we are reflections of our progress, making mistakes and learning from them. This authenticity attracts the right people into your life, those who appreciate the real you. Moreover, remember the words of Aristotle, who spoke about the golden mean, finding balance in life. Applying this to our concern for others' opinions means finding a healthy balance between considering constructive feedback and maintaining our autonomy and self-worth. Incorporating a Stoic mindset into our lives means understanding that our worth is determined by our virtues, our actions, and our commitment to living a meaningful life, not by external accolades or approval. It's about building a strong inner fortress that remains unshaken by the fleeting opinions of others. Let's commit to valuing ourselves for who we truly are, not for the likes, follows, or approval we receive. Let's be courageous in our authenticity, living lives that resonate with our deepest truths. Remember, your worth is inherent and unique. By being true to yourself, you shine your light in the most genuine way possible. Let's not just navigate life, but thrive in it, with the confidence that comes from knowing we are living authentically, aligned with our values, and true to ourselves. 10. Accepting change. Here's the thing, accepting change is not just necessary, it's vital for our growth and happiness. The reality is, the only constant in life is change. Learning to go with the flow and embrace life's inevitable shifts makes navigating them less scary and more of an adventure. The Stoics had an incredibly healthy perspective on change. They saw it as a natural part of the universe's rhythm. Marcus Aurelius said, "Accept whatever comes to you, woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs?" This profound acceptance of change as part of life's fabric helps us understand that each change, whether we perceive it as good or bad, has its place in our story. Seneca taught that becoming too attached to our current circumstances can lead to disappointment because inevitably those circumstances will change. He advised us to be flexible and to understand that change is not just a part of life, but a necessary component of our personal development and happiness. Epictetus encouraged us to distinguish between what we can control and what we can't. While we can't control our attitudes towards them, this mindset is incredibly empowering when it comes to dealing with change. It's about focusing on our responses finding opportunities for growth within the change, and moving forward with resilience. But how can we become more accepting of change? First, by acknowledging that change is inevitable. It's the natural order of things. Everything around us is in a constant state of flux. Seasons change, people come and go, and our very selves are renewing themselves as we speak. Embracing change means embracing life itself. Second, by practicing mindfulness, being present in the moment allows us to appreciate our current experiences without clinging to them. This awareness creates space for acceptance when those experiences inevitably evolve or come to an end. Third, by seeking the lessons in change. Every shift in our lives, no matter how challenging, comes with opportunities to learn and grow. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we can ask, "What can I learn from this?" This shift in perspective can turn the challenges of change into stepping stones for personal development. Aristotle spoke about the importance of pursuing a virtuous life as the key to happiness. A part of virtue is adaptability, the ability to navigate life's changes with grace and wisdom. It's about finding balance and harmony within the flux of life. Modern psychology supports this Stoic approach to change. Viewing change as an opportunity rather than a threat can significantly reduce stress and anxiety levels. It enhances our resilience, making us better equipped to handle whatever life throws our way. Let's remind ourselves that change is not just something to endure, but to welcome as a natural, enriching part of our journey. By accepting change, we open ourselves to new experiences, growth, and the beautiful unfolding of our unique paths in life. Remember, going with the flow isn't about passivity. It's about actively engaging with life in its full dynamic complexity. Let's navigate the currents of change with courage, grace, and a heart open to the endless possibilities that change brings. 11. Practicing compassion and empathy. Despite our differences, we're all in this together, navigating the complex journey of life. By fostering an understanding and caring attitude toward others, we contribute to making the world a kinder, more loving place. The Stoics, those ancient philosophers who continue to enlighten us with their timeless wisdom, placed great importance on the virtues of compassion and empathy. They believed in the interconnectedness of all humans and taught that kindness and understanding toward others are essential aspects of living a virtuous life. Marcus Aurelius, for instance, reminded us that human beings are social creatures by nature, meant to live in harmony and cooperation with one another. He said, "What brings no benefit to the hive brings none to the bee." This beautifully illustrates the idea that our well-being is intrinsically linked to the well-being of others. Seneca emphasized the importance of treating others with kindness and generosity. He argued that compassion is a natural human instinct, and that by helping others, we also help ourselves. In his writings, Seneca encourages us to extend our empathy even to those who have wronged us, understanding that they too are acting out of their own struggles and limitations. Epictetus taught that we should strive to understand others' perspectives, recognizing that everyone has their reasons for their actions. This doesn't mean condoning harmful behavior, but rather approaching others with a mindset of empathy, seeking to understand their experiences and viewpoints. But how can we practice compassion and empathy in our daily lives? It starts with listening, truly listening, to the stories, experiences, and feelings of those around us. It's about putting ourselves in their shoes, imagining their struggles, their joys, their fears, and their hopes. This act of understanding can bridge the gap between us, fostering a sense of connection and shared humanity. Another way to cultivate compassion and empathy is through acts of kindness, no matter how small. A smile, a kind word, a listening ear, these can all make a significant difference in someone's day. By being present and attentive to others, we signal that they matter, that their feelings and experiences are valid and important. Practicing compassion and empathy also means being there for others in times of need, offering support and understanding without judgment. It's about recognizing the value and dignity of every person, regardless of our differences. The ancient philosopher Aristotle spoke about the importance of friendship and the role of empathy in building strong, meaningful relationships. He believed that true friends not only share in each other's joys, but also in their sorrows, supporting each other with empathy and understanding. Modern psychology supports the Stoic emphasis on compassion and empathy, showing that these virtues not only enhance our relationships, but also our own emotional well-being. By caring for others, we foster a sense of belonging, purpose, and happiness in our own lives. Let's remind ourselves that behind every face is a story. Behind every action is a reason. By understanding and caring for each other, we make the world a kinder, gentler place. In doing so, we not only enrich the lives of those around us, but also find deeper fulfillment and joy in our own lives. Together, let's spread kindness like confetti, creating ripples of compassion that transform the world, one act of empathy at a time. 12. Reflecting and reviewing regularly. This is about taking a pause, a real, meaningful pause, to look back on our actions, our thoughts, and the paths we've tread. It's about growth, introspection, and aligning our lives with our deepest values. In a world that's always rushing forward, this practice is our anchor, ensuring we're not just being swept away, but are sailing in the direction that's true to us. The Stoics, with their profound insights into human nature, placed immense value on the practice of reflection. Marcus Aurelius, in his personal writings, which we now treasure as meditations, offered a model of this practice. He didn't just rule an empire, he took the time to examine his life, his decisions, and his moral compass through writing. He saw this reflection as essential to living a life of virtue and purpose. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts, he wrote, reminding us that our internal dialogue shapes our external reality. Seneca recommended regular self-assessment as a way to foster self-improvement and wisdom. He likened life to a play, suggesting that we periodically review our roles and performances. Are we acting in harmony with the character we wish to embody? Are our actions reflective of the script we value? The script of our lives? Epictetus encouraged his students to end each day with a review of their actions and attitudes. This wasn't about self-criticism, but about self-awareness and growth. He urged us to ask ourselves, what did I do well? What did I do wrong? What duties were left undone? Through such questions, we can steer our lives more consciously, making adjustments that bring us closer to our ideals. But how do we incorporate this practice of reflection and review into our modern lives? First, by making it a habit. Dedicate a few minutes each day, perhaps before bedtime, to reflect on your day. What were your victories? Where did you face challenges, and how did you respond? This practice can start as a mental exercise, but writing it down can enhance its benefits, giving you a tangible record of your journey. Second, use reflection as a tool for gratitude. In reviewing your day, also take note of the moments, no matter how small, that brought you joy or gratitude. This balances our natural tendency to focus on the negative, cultivating a more positive outlook on life. Third, approach this practice with kindness and compassion toward yourself. Reflection is not about berating yourself for mistakes, but about recognizing them as opportunities for learning and growth. Be as understanding and supportive to yourself as you would be to a dear friend. Aristotle spoke about the importance of living a reflective life. He believed that true wisdom comes from understanding ourselves, our actions, and our place in the world. This reflection is the essence of living an examined life, one that's in accordance with virtue and excellence.